Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on CW11.
Welcome into Home Track Heroes here on the CW11. Glad to have you in with us. My name is Caleb Hart. This is Kyler Hope, and we're glad to have you with us. Another great week of racing action out at Evergreen Speedway, where 5 classes of action, multiple different tracks coming into play, multiple different configurations. Going to be a good time, Kyler. I'm looking forward to it. We got small cars, big cars, all kinds of variety for you tonight here on Home Track Heroes.
Yeah, exactly. We got another class that's new for 2022, the Vintage Modifieds. They'll be taking on our 3/8 mile oval along with the street stocks, and then we also got a bunch of 4-cylinders here in action too, and we love those cars because they always put on a great show. We got the Stinger 8s; they're always entertaining, and we got another new road course for the Hornets.
That's
so
right.
A B main and an A main for them, and then we got 2 main events for the Youth Hornets because we had like 16 or 18 of these guys come out this weekend. So we're going to split them up into 2 different main events and have a fun time.
Plus, your favorite, the street stocks in action once again.
Exactly. I can't get enough of these street stocks. They put on a great show.
So, sit back, relax, enjoy, go get a cold one, and be ready to go. As, like Kyler said, tons of race action here tonight for you on Home Track Heroes. Going to start things off with the Interstate Battery Hornet B feature, the first of our small car divisions. We'll have adult and youth Hornets. We're going to have Stinger 8s coming up as well. So if you like the small compact cars, the 4-cylinders, you're going to get a whole heck of a lot of action all the way down into a B main. And these B mains have been physical and fun over the course of the year so far.
Exactly, yeah. These guys are fighting to stay alive for tonight. So they got a 20-lap B main right now. Top 4 have the option to transfer on to the 30-lap main event later on tonight. So some of these drivers could be racing 50 laps tonight, and as you can see, they're rolling out onto the track now. They're going to be doing the reverse boot. So last time the Hornets were out, we saw the boot. Now they're going to run it backwards, and we did this last year at Fair and put on a great show. We actually rolled one of them last time we ran this course. So hopefully we keep all 4 wheels on the ground tonight, as that was a pretty scary incident. But let's get to know the starting lineup. Starting on the front row, we have the 382 of Josh Zylstra, sponsored by Northern Lights Towing, and his outside the 21 of Ethan Payne, sponsored by Arnold's Walking Horses.
Our second row, Gabriel Guevara, the 4R Wise Investment Group, his sponsor. Tegan Bjornsson is in the 59, sponsored by Whiteside Steel.
Row number 3 is made up of the 101 of Brian McNamara, sponsored by True Line Wheel and Frame, and his outside is the 06 of Chuck Fisher, sponsored by Omega Pizza and Pasta.
Our 7th and 8th starters, the 17 of Owen Craig, Soundstone Supply, his sponsor, and then Eric Kelly, car number 4, sponsored by Jet Racing Team.
We got the 8 of Luca Tell, and the 69 is Zach Meyer, sponsored by Candace Edwards, making up the next row. And then rounding out the field is the 88 of Garrett Kramer, sponsored by Northwest Security and Sound.
There are some talented drivers and some fast cars here in this 20-lap B feature. Some drivers we've seen knocking on the door for podiums and having good finishes on Home Track Heroes here in the Interstate Battery Hornets division. They're going to go 20 times around. Payne in the blue with white red trim, number 21, and the 382 of Zylstra. A lot of right turns coming up here on Das Boot Reverse.
Exactly, and we see quite a few people moving up from our Youth Hornet division. Actually, some that are going to be competing in both the Youth Hornets and the Hornets tonight. Ethan Payne, we've seen him in the Youth Hornets quite often, that 21 machine. Tegan Bjornsson, he's a graduate of the Youth Hornets. He no longer races with them. And then Owen Craig, he'll be pulling double duty tonight, both in the Youth Hornets and in the Hornets, as he tries to advance out of this B feature. You see him in the 17 at the very end of the pack right there.
Busy race night coming up here on Home Track Heroes for a lot of these 4-cylinder drivers, as you will see the Evergreen Speedway Pace vehicle disappear off your screen. And here they come down. So they'll make a right-hand turn off corner 3 of the 3/8 onto the back straightaway, going backwards on the 5th mile, and then a right-hand turn into what we usually call turn 2 and turn 1 of the 5th mile, down to the front straightaway. It's the reverse boot. Pretty cool that we get to show it off here, and they will pick up the pace coming off the first corner. Green flag is out as they go backwards into what is turn 4 and turn 3. Typically on the 3/8 mile, as they're already shooting all over the place. That's Guevara in the white and red number 4, kind of getting wild and out there. Look how much speed they're carrying in. It looks like they're carrying a lot of momentum into the boot.
Yeah, and last year what we saw was a big issue with that little access road, which now has been almost doubled in width, is they would be carrying all that speed and then have to try to woe it up into access road that could only handle maybe 1 or 2 cars wide. This year, it's 4 or 5 cars wide, so we're going to see them carrying a ton of momentum, probably see some pretty exciting moves as they go down into the access road heading into the infield. As looks like Tegan Bjornsson is able to capture the lead over Ethan Payne now as he tries to lead some laps here, as he starts to check out from the rest of the field, and hopefully is able just to run away and keep a clean green 20 laps.
Yeah, Bjornson absolutely flying here early. That car's got a ton of speed. Guevara up into second position. Move Payne back into third. Zylstra in the 382 sits in the fourth position. And again, you get through the B main, you have the option to move up into the A main. You can park the car for the rest of the night if you so choose, but hey, racers race, that's what they do, as we watch your top four trying to break away from the field. And again, I don't know if it's just my eyes playing tricks on me, Kyler, but it sure looks like these cars are carrying lots of speed. So we're going to flash back to third, and Payne's a little off the pace.
Yeah, he's falling back a little bit. And I think it might be a factor of some of the guys are shifting. Some of the younger competitors may not be shifting as much or as often, which a course like this, how it's set up with those slower, tighter corners and the, we'll call it the chicane on the access road. They probably aren't shifting or knowing to shift, just that lack of experience, and that's where we really see a lot of the cars that have like that lower gear that's set up just perfect for this road course, able to drop a gear, carry a ton of speed, and really gain that momentum going around the back straightaway of the 1/5 and onto the front straightaway.
Zach Meyer has moved into third in car number 69, and that was Garrett Kramer, the black with green number 88, from dead last all the way up into fourth with a bullet. So now you're watching fifth in the battle for fifth. Luke Attell working to the inside of the 101 of Brian McNamara. Those are non-transferring positions, but good racing action as they work their way into the chicane. Can Attell get through? He can. To the inside, he'll move to fifth. On the outside looking in, though, for a transfer spot.
Yeah, now we got a battle for the lead. See Guevara, he's caught Bjornson going down into turns 4 and then 3 of the 3/8 mile. The top 4 kind of checked out from rest of the pack. Nothing really... No real battle for the transfer spot yet, as long as these four are just able to keep it clean, which as a racer, you have the mentality that, hey, I'm in a transfer spot, I made the show for later tonight, but also racers, like you said, they're going to race. So
yeah. And considering, too, when you're coming through a B feature, every car you pass now is one you may not have to get by later in the program. So if Guevara's got the faster car and thinks he can get by Bjornson, make the move now and pick up a spot.
Exactly, yeah. Especially with Zach Meyer and Kramer both hunting down the 4 Guevara now, as the top 4 are really all close together. So they just all got to keep it clean. I mean, the 8 of Luke Attell, he's in the background. He's sitting 5th right now. He's probably waiting for one of these guys to make a mistake or get into each other, and so he can really catch and close that gap. So he is now has 13 laps until the end of this B feature for the Hornets.
That camera view there pointing down the front straightaway gives you a really good idea of how they're trying to enter into turn number 1 and the different lines that they're taking. You'll watch Guevara swing out wide, come in through the chicane as though somebody's got some problems back in the field.
Yeah, it looked like a poor innocent Uke tire might have got struck by our pole sitter, Josh Zylstra, on the 382.
That is a very naughty Josh Zylstra. Naughty.
You can see that Uke tire's it's moved pretty far. It's a pretty tough hit for one of these little 4-cylinder cars, and that's like when we talked about carrying a ton of speed down that back straightaways. We got a really good battle for the race lead. Guevara slipping up a little bit as he has let Zach Meyer and Kramer now both go by us. Zach Meyer's going to look to the inside of Bjornson, and they thankfully stayed off each other. That was like there was some contact there for a second.
That was tight. Meyer tried to stuff his car in a hole that wasn't necessarily all that big. Bjornson gets the door slammed, but now Meyer with another look going down on the inside into the 4th corner of the 3/8, the first turn here on the reverse boot, and he has got the leverage, he's got the lane, and you've got a new race leader coming into the chicane. It is Meyer in the 69.
Yeah, and you can just see how much he was sliding that car in there, all the momentum he carried into turns number 4 and 3 of the 3/8, and just able to keep the pedal down, keep the car straight enough as he's going to slide it down. As the 8 of Luke Attell has issues, this is going to bring out the caution, as we'll come back and take a look at that. As I'm not sure if his car stalled out or what. There's being reports of a lot of water right before that access road, so they're going to go try to take a look at that, as we'll get a replay here in a second. As issues for the guy who's sitting in 5th, trying to knock his way into a transfer spot.
Well, he was a long ways back from the transfer spot as those 4 were on a big breakaway. Let's get a look and see what happened to Attell. Wide through the middle of the 3/8, and well, his car's not leaking so much as it splashed through a mud puddle and is dragging it all with him.
So that was very interesting. I couldn't tell if there maybe something locked up in the steering, or that's definitely a weird incident for a car to be all by himself like that and then have issues and then be able to continue on.
You know, if we only had like a sound effects board, we could have played the Splish Splash I'm Taking a Bath soundtrack right there. That would have worked out. Rubber Ducky, you're the one.
Yeah, that water didn't look very clean, though. As I don't see Attell back in the lineup, so he must have had some more issues where he pulled in the pits and trying to figure something out. So maybe someone locked it up in the steering or some greater issues that we're just unaware of. Couldn't see visually.
It's either that or he's the Wicked Witch of the West, and he was melting inside the car at that point.
It could have been.
It
got wet, yeah.
It
could have been, yeah. So green flag is back out in the air, and Myers is sliding around, able to hang on to it, as that's not where the water was put down at, but he's able to hang on as a couple of cars will be sliding through that water now on the inside line, going to the access road, and that's going to knock the 59 of Bjornsson way back on this restart as Zach Meyer and Garrett Kramer are both able to get by him.
Yeah, nice move, Kramer. Started dead last. He's up to second now. He's got a lot of race left here in this B feature, too. I mean, we're only halfway right now as the reverse boot. All kinds of fun, although your top four started to break away once again. So let's see if Kramer can run down and make the move here on Meyer. I feel like both these guys doing a really good job on the reverse boot track that doesn't get a whole lot of play. At least here, we got a car around backwards in the back straightaway.
Yeah, that was Ethan Payne going for a little spin. As we'll see if he's able to get fired back up, and we can avoid, hopefully, bringing out another caution. As he does get the car moving once again, we'll stay green, as it could have been a result of that little bit of water down on the track from the Hattel incident, or could have just carried a little too much momentum in there and slid the car around. Thankfully, no one got hurt, no contact, and everyone's able to continue as the battle for the race lead continues to wage on. 88 Kramer, he's trying to find a different alternate line through that little chicane and carry some momentum on Zach Meyer, and he has a good run going down in the South Pole.
You can see how he's changing up his braking zone coming into the chicane a little bit. We'll get another view of it as he works his way around to the back straightaway this time, although we'll just go and look at Tegan Bjornsson for a second. So that's battle for the transfer spot, and the battle is on. Brian McNamara is getting closer and looking to move up into a spot that can put him into the main event tonight. Yeah, McNamara with a lane. You can see Bjornsson kind of widened out the entrance into the chicane to try to carry more momentum through, and that allowed McNamara to take the shorter line through the corner and close up the gap.
Yeah, I think Bjornsson might have a faster car, but McNamara has a little bit better of a line through the chicane. That's where he's able to make up the momentum and carry a little bit more speed in the 101. But right here, you can just see the raw power the 59 car has going down the front straightaway. But McNamara, he started fifth. He's still in that position, just waiting, biding his time, trying to drive a smart race and work his way up into the top four, and hopefully grab a transfer spot as he pushes it a little bit further into the axis for that time. Almost has a run on Bjornsson going down in this corner. Maybe has to do a little bit of bump and run action to get that transfer spot. Now it's almost a four-car battle for this final spot.
Eric Kelly's not out of this either. You see the four-car coming into the picture, and another driver also entering the fray, our 8th place competitor, or making our 7th place competitor at this point in time. Also sticking a nose in there. I think that's your 17 of Owen Craig getting racy. Bjornsson, a little bit of breathing room through that last section of corners, but here comes the 101. McNamara trying to close and looking for a lane underneath Bjornsson, coming into 5 to go.
Yeah, we've seen this with Bjornsson before. I mean, it could just be a younger driver, not quite physically there to wheel these cars. Because 20 laps around a road course, that's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of strength. And we've seen him in these B features quite often, where he'll have a really good race going, and then all of a sudden it'll start raining on him, and he misses turn one, or he just gets the car kind of falls off towards the end of the race. So Bjornsson, he's been in these B mains a lot, and he's usually in a transfer spot or is able to lead a lot. But towards the end of the race, we've seen him start to fall off. So it could just be the physicality of a young driver. Just isn't quite there compared to some of the older competitors, as we got a battle for 5th right now.
We do. There goes Kelly to the inside of McNamara, looking for the first spot on the outside looking in, and he's got the position through the 3rd and 4th corners of the 3/8, now into the chicane and onto the back straightaway of the 6th mile, and Kelly's really coming. Look at all that gap that he has made up. Here at the very end, Eric Kelly, a look inside Bjornsson. He's got the spot coming off the inside of turn 1 of the 6th mile, or the 5th mile, sorry.
Now he just has 3 laps to try to hang on and try to check out from the 59 car of Tegan Bjornsson. We'll see what Bjornsson's able to do. Like we said, that car has a ton of speed. We'll see if he's able to carry some momentum down, maybe upset the 4 of Kelly a little bit and try to get that position back as we continue to watch this battle. It looks like Ethan Payne might have went for another ride trying to get on the access road, so he'll get that 21 fired back up in the right direction. But Eric Kelly, that car has come alive here at the end. He's really starting to check out from 5th place Tegan Bjornsson.
It feels like he's found a line. Look how wide he's getting down the front straightaway and into the 3/8. Feels like he's found a line through the chicane that's really helping him carry a lot of speed and not scrub it. As your top 3 will get a look, Zach Meyer is coming to the white flag in the 69. Garrett Kramer following him, Gabriel Guevara, those 3 securely in transfer positions with 1 more lap around.
Yeah, while we were watching that battle for 4th, these 3 have just kind of been running their own race. They've been really close with one another, but no one really made a pass or tried to do anything too drastic as they've stayed in the same positions. We'll see if Garrett Kramer is going to try to steal this win away from Zach Myers to go down the back straight of the 1/5 mile one final time.
Down into the final set of corners. It is Meyer just a little bit of room between him and Kramer. They will both advance into the A if they so choose. As Meyer wins, Kramer 2, Guevara 3, and then the long stretch back. And Eric Kelly made the rally and holds on to the final spot. We will see the Interstate Battery Hornets coming up for A-Main action a little bit later on in the program. More coming up next as you are watching Home Track Heroes here on the CW11. Welcome back here to Home Track Heroes on the CW11. Thank you for spending your Sunday night enjoying some awesome racing action from Evergreen Speedway. We move on as if the reverse boot wasn't fun enough. We got two Interstate Batteries Youth Hornet A-Main events coming up. Youth Hornet main number 1 on the track now.
Exactly, yeah, we can see them rolling out, and there they are on your screen. And let's just jump right into the starting lineup. We got the 19D of Elijah Delfell, sponsored by Mazda of Everett on the pole, and is outside the 01 Tanner Bjornson, sponsored by Whiteside Steel.
We've seen Bryson Wingfield look good in the 65 car. Tony Hill is his sponsor. He is inside row number 2. Next to him, it's the 14 of Preston Brandt. Skyline Decals, the sponsor on the 14.
Row number 3, we see the 31 of Lila Braun, her outside the 95 of Evan Delfell, sponsored by Mazda of Everett.
And then the final row, Cayenne Spear. It is the Quality Auto Transport number 51. And Cesara Pierce, it's the 61, outside at row number 4. So yep, going to go 8 cars, and we're going to give them 15 laps here. Our first of 2 Interstate Battery Youth Hornet main events here on the night on Home Track Heroes, and I believe that means we're going to have a new feature winner out of this first group, as Riley Rudell's won the first couple of the year in the division, so we will at least in one of the 2 main events have a new feature winner. That'll be cool.
Exactly, yeah. We had so many of these Youth Hornets show up today that we were like, hey, let's just give them two different main events. But technically an A and a B main, but no transfer, so it's Youth Hornet A main 1 as the green flag is out as they go down in turn number 1. A great jump early for the 19 of Delfell as he's able to carry some momentum, go around, and take over the lead going down the back straightaway.
It's not like we haven't seen Delfell's leading races here at Evergreen Speedway before, so this is just par for the course, right?
Yeah, well, caution's out, so maybe they didn't really like the jump that he got on that, so maybe a little bit of a jump there for the young Elijah Delfell in the 19D. So we'll give him another chance at it, see if we can get a cleaner start. They didn't like how big of a jump he got going down in turn number 1.
All right, well, re-rack him or restack him. We'll give him another shot. This segment, by the way, brought to you by Angel the Winds Casino Resort. They now have sports betting. Think you can pick a winner? Prove it. Angel the Winds Casino Resort, the only home for sports betting north of Seattle, exit 210 off I-5 in Arlington.
It's a place to be, and I mean, if like we talked about, Riley Riddell, he's been the kid to bet on for the Youth Hornet division, but he's not in this one. We got a new winner, like you're going to say, so we're going to have a new winner tonight. Elijah Delfell, I mean, he's been fast. We've seen him compete up and top in quite a bit of A-main events as well, so he'll probably be the one to watch as John Pearson's going to give him the green flag this time out of 3 and 4.
Feels like we've seen Lila Braun lead some laps as well, so inside row 3 would be somebody to keep your eyes on. That white with orange number 31 that's a better looking start. Let's go down into turn 1. Oh, thump. Double thump. Lots of thumping. Thumping bad. Everybody kind of making their way through, and then we get 3 cars just coming to a stop and hanging out. And we got some hood damage for sure on the 51 of Cayenne Spear. It's the 95 of Evan Delfell, the Mazda of Everett sponsored car, hanging out. Let's get a look at the replay.
Yeah, I think you were right when you're talking about thumping a lot of thumping. So I think almost every single car had some sort of play in this chain reaction wreck. As it looks like maybe the 31 of Lila Braun, and I think that's the 61 of Cesara Pierce were the only 2 that did not have any sort of contact in that wreck. And then, of course, we see Lila Braun or Cayenne Spear in the 51 get hung up on the rear end of, who was that? Was that Wingfield or Delfell?
Every single car made contact there in some form or fashion.
So it was the 95 Evan Delfell that she ended up hooked up with. So we'll get a couple of our towing partners out there, Dick's Towing, to help unhook those 2 cars. And we'll try that restart one more time. Third time's a charm, right?
You know what? Braun may not have gotten tagged there. Might have gotten through. So 7 of 8.
Yeah, I think Lila Braun, Cesara Pierce, the only 2 that made it through.
That's okay. Way to go.
Way to
go, young men and women.
All right.
That works.
Third time's a charm. We'll get set for the next restart here. Elijah Delfell and Tanner Bjornson on the front row. And how about Bjornson? He's got a little bit of a cheater wing right there. Is that what you like to call it?
Is that a cheater wing? Okay, I'll go for it. I mean, the spoiler is, I guess, legal, maybe, sort of. I don't know.
We'll go with it on the Dukes Hazzard 01 machine.
It's not really a spoiler, though. It's really a wing on the back of that thing. Well, we'll see. We'll see if it adds a little speed to Bjornson's 01. Well, no, that's not going to do her.
That's not going to add speed.
That's going to be bad.
That's a 65 of Bryson Wingfield going around as he tried to shoot a hole that maybe wasn't quite there. But we'll see if he's able to get fired up. Hopefully, we'll stay green. But
well, with the 2 cars that are now missing from the field, here's the good news for Wingfield. If it does go yellow, he'll only be restarting in 6th. So he doesn't have a too terrible long way to come back up the field.
Yeah, so yellow's out. It looks like we might have completed a lap. Looks like we're going to say 14 to go for these guys this time. So
Let's just get them into single file, please.
Yeah, we'll try it one more time as Wingfield. Oh, was that? I think that was unintentional. I would like to think that was unintentional. I think he's trying to get to the outside. I think he was being told via the race receiver to, hey, go to the outside and wait, and wasn't quite clear to the outside yet.
Whoops. Okay, well, we've got a race leader. It's the 31 of Lila Braun. Yes?
Yeah,
yes.
So.
All right, cool. Yeah. And now they've reset the ticker back to 15.
Okay, so we'll get these Youth Hornets organized in this first main event. Hopefully this isn't a precedent of what's to come for the A-mains later on tonight.
Kyler,
these Youth Hornets,
it's like herding cats out there at the moment.
Yeah.
This is, well, okay, they can't all be winners. Well, in fact, only one of them can be winners, but let's see if they can all behave. Hey, let's start them. Green's out. And then the ticker goes to 14, so we did get a lap in.
So Lila Braun out front with the 0-1 of Tanner Bjornson, battling hard with Elijah Delfell for second as they go down into the North Pole, coming around turns 3 and 4. Delfell's going to get pushed really wide. It looks like it's going to be the 0-1, taking the second place as we wait for the ticker to try to get updated here.
That's all right. We'll get there. We know it's Braun leading. We know it's Bjornson second. We know it's Delfell third. We can figure that out. So 1, 2, and 3. Maybe it's just from the last time that I was on Home Track Heroes and we were here at Evergreen Speedway. But, man, compared to the rain racing that we had on that episode, they look like they're flying. It just looks like they're so much faster right now.
Yeah, they're moving really well. And, I mean, you mentioned how it was rain racing last time. Now they got that sun that they have to look right into right there through turns 3 and 4. So it's another factor that they're going to have to deal with all night long. As we really lucked out with Mother Nature tonight because it was not looking pretty all week long. No. We were all really nervous. And then we show up to the track today and, look, sunshine. And the drivers are having to deal with it right there. That's got to be really tough, just staring right into the sun.
I would not have called that. Although, a lot of the drivers have equipped themselves for these scenarios. They'll pick up their helmets and they'll go and they'll get a tinted visor of some kind, maybe a smoke visor. The blue visor is becoming very, very popular as well. Anything, whatever it takes just to kind of, decrease the amount of glare coming into the race car. And, they're prepared for it. They know about when they're going to run on the program every night watch out. They were making a Evan Delfell sandwich with those 2 cars back there as Wingfield's trying to come back forward, chasing the 14 of Preston Brandt.
Yeah, Preston Brandt started on the outside of row number 2 and is currently sitting in 4th, so that same spot, trying to work their way back forward, trying to get onto the podium as we're watching the 31 of Lila Braun just absolutely take off right now, working their way around lap traffic, able to get around the 61 of Cesara Pierce as just doing everything right, just keeping the car nice and steady as we're halfway through, or coming halfway this time by, maneuvering lap traffic staying low and trying to stay out of the way as I say that the 95 Evan Delfell is going to get right in the way of second place Tanner Bjornson and really allow the 31 to open up her lead.
When did Delfell lose his hood? He had his hood originally, right? Did that go bye-bye?
It might have been taken off after that incident, after that first crumple up incident, where everyone hit someone.
Who needs a hood anyways?
Exactly, yeah. It's to make the car lighter.
Right.
You don't need aero in
right.
Hornets.
That's right. So there's your leader. It's the 31 of Lila Braun looking for what we believe to be first main event win. First one we've seen. So looking good so far. Decent little advantage over the second place 0-1 of Tanner Bjornson. Third place and a little ways back should be that silver car right there. That is the 19D of Elijah Delfell. So your top 3 in the running order, just like that. 5 to go. They go quickly once you're on the 5th mile.
Yeah, and a little bit of a rainbow out there. Beautiful night here at Evergreen Speedway. A perfect one to come on out. I mean, it's starting that time of year where it's warming up and you want to come to the grandstands, get a hot dog, get some nachos, and just sit and watch some racing. It's race season. It's here. It's fully here.
Few things go better than race cars, hot dogs, and beer. As look at Bjornson closing the gap on Braun. Braun pushing wide off the 4th corner, and we're down to just a handful of laps left. Braun about to start getting some pressure from Bjornson, washing really wide in the corners, and you wonder, something we talked about in the B main, fatigue may be a factor coming into slower traffic. Bjornson body slam to Braun and through new leader Tanner Bjornson.
And I don't think that was with any intent. I think it was just trying to avoid the lap car of the 95 Evan Delfell. So just trying to stay out of the lap car and ended up getting into the 31 of Lila Braun for the race lead. As here comes Delfell trying to work his way through. And he's going to work his way all the way up to, I believe, second place now.
Nice work there. White flag's out.
Yeah, so a great a huge shakeup here in the top 3 as going down the back straight for the final time is the 01 of Tanner Bjornson on his way to his first main event victory here in the Youth Hornet division. He'll see the checkered flags off at turn number 4.
All right, Tanner Bjornson gets the win, gives second to Elijah Delfell in 19D. Tough break for Lila Braun, who led most of it, but at the very end falls off into third. Interstate Batteries Youth Hornet podium interviews coming up. Your top 3 going down to the stage to have a chat.
Now, what was your favorite part of that race?
Mainly the last couple laps.
Can you tell everyone here today how old you are?
I'm 12 years old.
Got anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Whiteside Steel, Emerald City Drones, and Stilly. I don't know. Huh? Napa. And everyone else that came out here.
Race winner of the B main, driver of the 01, Tanner Bjornson. Have a favorite part of that race?
Say it again?
Favorite part of that race?
Probably the last few laps. It was just very energetic. It was just very energetic.
Do you have anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Mazda of Everett, all my family, my stepdad, my grandfather, my brother, my mom, and did I say Mazda of Everett? Mazda of Everett and Devin, number 195.
What was your favorite part of that race, Layla?
My favorite part, I don't even know. It was just so fun. That's all I can say. It was so fun.
You enjoy being up here on the podium?
I never thought this would ever happen. Like, ever. Like, I don't even know. My brain is just, oof.
Got anyone you'd like to thank for your performance tonight?
I'd like to thank Dunestar and Village Transmission. Also, my grandpa and Steve for putting this all together.
We had so much fun in our Interstate Batteries Youth Hornet main number 1. Let's do it again. Throw some new drivers out there and go after for 15 more laps here at Home Track Heroes.
Exactly, yeah. So now we have the top 8 of qualifying times of the Youth Hornets. That we put them all into the quote-unquote A heat or A feature for these guys, as we'll see how they're able to take on. Hopefully maybe be able to get a cleaner start and not take 3 tries at it, as we'll get to know the starting lineup on the front row. We got the 12 of Sage Frazier, sponsored by Party Chief Safety Apparel, and her outside the 195 of Devin Jenkins.
Second row, Olivia Reppin, the Snoqualmie Casino, number 44. Chevy Vincent, car number 45, outside row number 2.
Row number 3, the 15 of Diesel Snyder, sponsored by Hair Inked, is outside the 17 of Owen Craig, sponsored by Rick Chevron.
And final row, supposed to be the 20 of Riley Riddell, the DL Enterprises car. Paisley Bender's 18, sponsored by Wagley Creek Automotive in the back of the field. And looks like we had somebody, oh nope, they're just a little bit out of line is what it ended up being. As the green flag is out, this main event underway, it'll go 20 laps. And this segment, as they all soar down into turn number 1, brought to you by Bardall and Bardall Manufacturing, located in Seattle, the world leader in automotive lubricants, oils, additives, lubricants for your car, truck, boat, motor, or motorized toy. Pick the brand racers around the world rely on. Bardall, celebrating over 82 years in business and operating in 90 countries, make Bardall your brand.
And it looks like they are not going to be as lucky, as they also did not like the original start for these guys. So we're going to re-rack them, try to get them back in order, as it's just been one of those nights of restarts, just struggling to get these Youth Hornet guys lined up. They're excited. I mean, hey, if you're a 12 to 14-year-old driving a full-size car, I'd be excited too. So they're jumping the start a little bit as they try to get them lined back up in order.
All right, so one more time. We know it's Frazier on the pole. Outside road number 1, it's 195 of Jenkins, then Reppin. It was Vincent who was supposed to be outside row number 2, and I didn't see the 45 up there.
Yeah, he's in the back. He's in the borrowed Zach Bristol machine.
Okay.
So that was the one that we saw Bristol take a pretty good hit in the Stinger 8 race last time out when it was raining, and they thrashed that thing together last minute. Chevy's motor is getting rebuilt, from what I understand, and they don't have it back yet, and so I think it was a team effort to get the Zach Bristol car together for Chevy to run tonight. So it's kind of cool seeing the racing community come together to get him back there. So he's in the back of the back, taking the end of the field in that 45 machine.
So it's actually Owen Craig outside row number 2 now. as barreling into turn number 1, and we go green.
Yeah, that start was much better, much more equal coming off the corner between Sage Frazier and Devin Jenkins in the 195 as Owen Craig's going to look to make it 3 wide on the outside with Olivia repping deep on the inside, and they're able to make it work going down the front straightaway. Up front, it's going to be Sage Frazier leading the first lap, and it is a hornet's nest of cars behind her.
Wow. Good job with that. I appreciate the humor. Diesel Snyder running his dad's 15 car, working to the inside here. Snyder, ooh, physical, up to second. They're 3 wide, 2 deep, coming off the 4th corner. Look at that.
Some awesome racing here as we see the back row, Paisley Bender and Riley Riddell. They're working their way forward up into 3rd and 4th place now, along with Diesel Snyder, who started in row number 3. So they're all coming from the back and trying to take over the top spot early from Sage Frazier, as we only have 3 laps complete, as they're already putting a ton of pressure on the back of that 12 machine. Oh, it's a big bump from Paisley Bender on Diesel Snyder. He's able to straighten it out and keep it going, as that is his dad's car. We saw the dad's going to have to run later on, so I wonder if they either put a new seat in there or just really padded it up for the Youth Horner main event right here.
It's either that or you're bouncing around side to side like you're in the Zip or the Carnival during the Evergreen State Fair. One or the other, right?
Exactly, yeah. As Riley Riddell is going to carry the momentum around the outside, past Diesel Snyder, and get to the outside of Frazier. Is a little tap from Diesel going down into turns 3 and 4 and down the front straightaway, as we already have 5 laps complete, a quarter of the way done.
Oden Craig's not done with this either. Craig to the inside, really making things difficult up front for your leader, Frazier, and Riddell. Riddell's now kind of boxed out, unable to bring the car to the inside, although Riley undefeated this year so far in the Youth Hornets, trying to make her work. They're going 3 wide into 1, and Craig's got the lead coming through.
Wow, what a great pass from Craig to be able to get to the inside of Frazier, avoid any Uke tires on the inside, and take over the race lead. Ooh. And that was really close as Frazier came flying in, almost got into the back of the 20 of Riddell as they go down. Now it's Owen Craig, your race leader. And he's already ran a 20-lap B-main event in the Hornets on the big road course. So we talked about fatigue possibly being a factor for some of these younger kids. I mean, this is the second main event of the night, and he's up front leading now.
It's either fatigue or rhythm. You can think about it one way or the other. Granted, different race course, but you kind of get in the seat. You kind of get in the way of, okay, here's my mark here. I'm going to hit it. And Craig's looking good. Again, Riddell undefeated, but Craig trying to put a blemish on his record here in the Youth Hornets. And Paisley Bender, driving like a mad woman, has worked her way up into 3rd and behind him. This has been fun.
Yeah, and Paisley's parents actually aren't here tonight, so she's got the help of Chrissy Cox and a few others. So maybe if she stays up there in podium, Mom and Dad won't be able to come around anymore for the races.
I think trying to keep the Benders away from Evergreen Speedway could be an adventure there, as you've got Craig still holding off Riddell. Halfway home, 10 in the books, 10 remain on the ledger, as Riddell trying to figure out the combination to get around Owen Craig.
Yeah, he got really loose on entry right there. It looked like he carried a little too much speed, got on the brakes a little too hard, back end came around a little bit, and he had to take evasive action to not hit a Uke tire, and he lost quite a bit of ground at the 17 of Craig, as he only has 9 laps now to try to hunt down that 17 and make the pass for the race lead. But Owen Craig, he's looking strong, and I think catching the 17 is one thing, passing him is going to be a whole nother story.
Now Riddell is within a car length once again. Let's see how he chooses to attack Craig, and you can see the lines going into turn number 1. Craig's been very consistent, hugging the bottom, coming off with a lot of momentum. Now Riddell changing his entry, coming into turn number 3. He got really wide on that new paved area on the back straightaway. See if that allows him to carry a little more momentum through the 3rd and 4th corner.
Yeah, it's one thing we see with some of the more experienced youth drivers versus some of the people or youth Hornet drivers that are just now entering the series, is they'll go way wide and really open up their entry into turns 3 and 4 as they go down the back straightaway. And it's just something, I mean, it makes sense. You're widening the apex of the corner. The apex is the very center of the corner. You know, we talked about this before on Home Track Heroes. So they try to widen their entry and make the corner as long as possible so they don't have to slow down as much. But you can't really do that when you're trying to pass someone. You can't necessarily use the whole track up. So it's where it gets difficult. And we're seeing Riddell struggle with that right now as he tries to get to the inside of the 17 machine.
That's a really good point. There's a big difference between a racing line and a running by yourself kind of line, or a qualifying line. And again, you've got access to the entire raceway with not having to worry about where the cars are when you're either leading or out front by yourself or in qualifying. Now Riddell, using the front bumper a little bit on the back of Craig, has 4 laps to figure it out. Trying to work to the inside of him through 3 and 4. Craig doing a very good job of defending the bottom and making sure that Riley has to try to go the long way around the racetrack to get by.
Exactly, and we've seen Riley Riddell race in the Youth Hornets for quite a long time, and he's not just going to fly up there and wreck you, too. So it's kind of cool seeing 2 drivers like Owen Craig and Riley Riddell be able to race each other hard and know that they're not going to go in there just going to wreck each other like that with 2 laps remaining here.
2 to go. Can Craig stop the roll of Rudell here early in the season? They're coming to the white flag. This time by a car length separates them. Busy night for Craig. Looking for the checkered flag the next time around. He's got a 1/6 of a mile to go. Here comes Rudell into 1.
Rudell dove it all the way in there. Possibly a little bit of a touch from the back bumper there. We'll see if he's able to do anything right here. He's going to look to the outside, try to get to the outside. Not quite enough. Owen Craig is going to knock Riley Rudell off. Riley comes home second. Paisley Bender is able to hang off a strong charging Diesel Snyder for third to round out the Angelo Wins podium. Wow, what a great run there. A little bit of style for Jenkins. He's going to go around.
Yeah, he got a little help.
Top 5 with style.
That's all right. That all counts. As let's go down to the Angelo Wins Casino podium. Derek Todoroff's got our interviews with our top 3.
All right, Craig, how old are you?
14.
What was it like holding off Riley there for those final laps?
Scary. He's really fast.
Got any plans on where you want to go after the Youth Hornets?
Not yet. We'll see what happens.
And do you have anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Torgy's Trucking Collision Center, Mark Hubbard for setting up the car. Rick Chevron, JBR, my mom and dad, and yeah, Brandon.
Riley, walk us through those final moments, those final laps trying to get by the 17.
It was pretty interesting. It was pretty fun that he actually was able to get out that far ahead. Made a couple mistakes and tried to run him down, but just couldn't happen.
Do you have anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, I gotta thank Halfcock Guns, DL Enterprise, Duval Family Drugs, Oberg Filters, Joe's Racing Products, Cockwheels Racing, Joe's Racing Products, everyone who helps on the car, my dad for fixing everything on it and getting the parts changed, and I gotta tell my Aunt Tammy happy birthday.
Solid 3rd place finish tonight, Paisley. How does it feel?
It feels good.
Did you have a favorite part of that race tonight?
Probably when I was fast.
Not giving me a lot to work here with.
Yeah.
Have anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
JBR, Joe's Racing Products, Coxwheels Racing, Image Auto Body, 2.5 Men Barbecue, J2, Hammerhead Fabrications, Voss Motorsports, Wagley Creek, and everybody who just came out and helped me today, especially Chrissy Cox and Katie, because my parents are out of town and they were my race moms for this weekend.
Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on the CW11. Caleb Hart, Kyler Hope, Sparkle Wash night here at Evergreen Speedway. We've had a lot of small car action, and we have even more small car action coming up. Interstate Batteries, Hornets, adult version, A-Main. They're going 30 times around, and we're going back to the boot reverse style this time for the big field of cars.
That was a lot. You nailed that. That was a lot of information you just dropped right there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The Hornet A main event right here, Interstate Batteries, is the reverse boot. It's always so much fun, and the drivers love it. Once we announced that we were doing that at the drivers meeting, you could just see a lot of them light up because we qualified them and practiced them on their normal road course, and we told, hey, by the way, guys, we're going to flip you on the boot and make it go backwards, and they loved it. It's very, it's a driver's favorite course for the Hornets from if you go around and take a poll. So it's going to be some good, exciting racing as they have 30 laps coming up right here.
All right, your front rows: Dylan Frazier, car number 7, Valley Realty Group. Archie Lomax next to him in the 078.
Next up is the 03 of Lucas Haas and Flux, sponsored by Cornerstone Homes, and is outside the 14 of Austin Kramer, sponsored by Everett Steel.
Row number 3, 163, Annika Duncan, Olympic Embroidery, her sponsor. Bobby Fisher starts in the 6th position. Car number 81 is sponsored by Toyer Tax.
Row number 4, you'll find the JJR Engineering and Fabrication 2G of Jason Karenberg, and is outside the Quality Auto Transport 38 of Kenny Spear.
5th row is Michael Duncan, car number 78, sponsored by GDX Garage Door Service. Pat Folger, unsponsored, car number 30, starts 10th.
Then we got Ryan Hasenfluck in the 33 Cornerstone Homes machine, and his outside the 15 of Myatt Snyder, sponsored by Hair Inc. And we got in-car camera in the 15 car that we'll check in a little bit later on.
Row behind them is Blaine Manning, 68, Exterior Wall Systems, his sponsor. Christian Miller in the Turbo Espresso number 77 next to him.
And then we got the 49 of Calvin Miller, who we'll see in the street stocks later on tonight as well. And the 43 of Damon Claiborne, sponsored by Raritan Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Monroe.
And your final lock-in for this, the Exterior Wall Systems Inc. number 00. It's Dan Miller. Next to him, one of the move-ups, Gabriel Guevara, the 4R, sponsored by Wise Investment Group.
We got the 88 of Garrett Kramer, sponsored by Northwest Security and Sound. And his outside, the 69 of Zach Meyer, sponsored by K&S Edwards.
Eric Kelly is tail end Charlie. Car number 4, the Jet Racing Team Machine, is this segment sponsored by Central Welding Supply. Their mission of excellent service hasn't changed since 1975, a locally owned family business providing gases, safety, and welding supplies. Central Welding Supplies, expert staff making the difference. Find their 25 locations at centralwelding.com. Green flag out, we're underway.
As we see them tear down into the turn number 4, the 3/8 reverse style going down, and this is where it's going to get tight, this heavy braking zone into the newly paved and widened access road as they all file on through. So far, so clean it looks like. I mean, that was fairly calm for lap 1.
How about this? How cool has that extra paving on that access road been and given us for racing so far? Because we've seen the boot a couple of times now. What a great decision to do that. This has been fantastic. I love watching that. So far, so good. We're side by side for third as our early race leaders, Archie Lomax.
Yeah, and if you tuned in last week to Home Track Heroes, you would have saw a similar entry right here for the DriftCon course. They use that access road quite a bit as well, so it's definitely been put to use over the last few weeks with a couple weeks of running the boot or reverse boot. As Kenny Spears going to dive it in 3 wide as he's in a rush to get back up front. As he just gave, I think it was Annika Duncan, the 163, a nice little shot in the door as we look to go almost 4 wide for a second going into turn number 4 right there.
The very fast Christian Miller working up to his inside. Sure looks like it.
I
He's
believe
trying
so.
to poke his way through. So Kenny Spear trying to hold off Miller. They're just outside the top 5 right now. Bobby Fischer in the always recognizable blue with red flame number 81 moving forward on the field. He's got a position away from House and Fluck. Nice move there by Fischer.
And up front, it is still Archie Lomax. He's led every lap of this in the 078. Is it still 3 wide back there? That's Blaine Manning, your week 1 winner.
Dude,
and
that's
the going to go 4 wide. That's Snyder getting pushed way wide. Annika Duncan in the middle, and I think that was also the other Duncan in the middle in the 78 as well. So we got it's all sorts of a family affair up there.
Look at him keep his foot in it and still moving forward on the field. That's fantastic. Oh, I love the reverse boot. Give me all the reverse booting.
And I think that's the 4 of Guevara. He's the highest moving transfer car so far as he's working his way forward in that 4R machine. As we got a ton of fast cars. As Snyder going sideways. What a save there in the 15 as there's action all over the place wherever you look. I mean, tons of fast cars here mid-pack still battling it out.
Look how tight they are, too. I mean, there's no more than a car length between most of the field as you get a look up front. That's Dylan Frazier's 7 that's in front of that pack with a couple of them stacked up right in behind him. You can see Fischer is starting to run down the top 3 here, so let's keep our eyes on Bobby Fischer as he's trying to move his way in on the top 3 cars. Again, Lomax leads. That Frazier in 2nd, Kramer in 3rd, Fischer in 4th. Here comes Kramer making the move on Frazier as we get into what would be the south pole of the figure 8, turn 1 and 2 on the 5th mile. Lomax is leading, but Frazier for 2nd is kind of the action spot right now as Kramer looking all over the place for a way around him.
Yeah, and I think this is Archie Lomax's first time out this year, if I'm not mistaken. No, I don't visually remember seeing the 078.
It's a good first impression.
So, yeah, he's been doing really good so far. I mean, he's up front leading a ton of laps, so definitely the best run for him this year, if it's not his first run. As this battle behind him has been so much fun to watch. As we're getting confirmation, it is his first A main event. He's out there and he's led all 7 laps so far. So Archie Lomax doing great up there in that 078 machine as he's been able to hold off everyone so far as Frazier and Kramer are continuing to battle on. But right here, this is the 4th on back on your screen, and look how tight that is.
Oh gosh, so Kramer just lost 3rd to Fischer and dropped another 4 spots right after it. One little mistake coming into the chicane cost him big time. Spear followed in and through. Miller followed through, Manning followed through, a whole bunch of cars through there.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something going wrong on that 14 machine. It looked like there might have been something slowing him up a little bit because he dropped pretty quickly. That car is normally not going that slow as we continue to watch this battle up front now as there's your race leader peeking into your screen on the right-hand side. And everyone else stacking up as they're going to get stacked up on the access road for a second. As that was Calvin Miller who really had to take evasive action and dive really low as he now runs to the inside of the 15 of Snyder.
So let's see if we can get another look at this as they come through the chicane this time. What seems like the drivers that are making the best laps are the ones that are turning the least through the chicane. They're getting rotated early at the start of the chicane and then making the little subtle trip onto the back straightaway of the 5th mile. Take a look at it. It seems like the drivers, again, who are just making that little itty-bitty dip left-hand turn onto the back are the ones who are really carrying the most speed here. As you're getting a look up front, we got racing action almost bordering the top 3. Is that Manning coming through?
Yeah, it's Blaine Manning, 68. He's up to 4th now as he gets around Frazier as he's hunting down the back of the 81 of Bobby Fischer now. So Blaine Manning, he's already a main event winner this year, and I think he did it in a rain race. So it's been a weird year for the Hornets because they really haven't had a normal race on the normal course because it's either been raining or run them on the boot or run them on the reverse boot or throw some sort of wrench in them. So they really haven't had a normal race this year, and Manning is fast in that 68 machine. He just blows by the 81 of Fischer. That 68 machine has come alive here, and I don't think Archie Lomax is going to be able to hang on much longer.
Oh, Archie, you're going to have to make that car awfully, awfully wide to hold off Blaine Manning. Manning working for the lead. Takes a look, going to cut that corner short underneath. New leader coming off the corner. Boy, Blaine Manning looking good.
Yeah, I think Lomax almost missed that corner. It looked like he was going high to let Blaine Manning go by, but I think he might have just missed that corner. Might have been driving out the rearview mirror a little too much right there. As we're going to take a look on board at probably a very exciting angle on Snyder. He's in that mid-pack with a lot of cars in front of him, and that's just, I mean, that sunlight is even going to play a little bit of a factor. I didn't think about that looking right down the access road, as it was a nice night, as he's just going to fly through and try to pick these guys off. These are a bunch of fast, competitive cars sitting right in front of him.
So I mentioned the driver's using some tinted shields. Well, you can look at Snyder. Snyder doesn't even have his shield down on his helmet. He's got the shield up. No driver's gloves in that thing. Beautiful look at a switch panel by a certain brand of company, which is awesome. As he works his way in through the chicane, just sawing the wheel. What a great look at how intense it is running on the reverse boot.
Yeah, as that's the 78 Duncan going by him on the outside as they give a little bump to Folger in front of him. As carrying a little bit of momentum there, it gets really tight as the 78 was smoking that right front tire, putting the power down. I'm amazed to see how much that steering column is shaking on Snyder's car, especially coming right here. He's going to downshift and try to go down and as he goes down the back straightaway here, you'll see how much it just really is shaking and vibrating.
Interesting. I hadn't even noticed the shifting that was going on, but I assumed that it had been, but I had no idea. So watch him as about mid straightaway or so. He's going to grab for higher gear. Here we go, and pop right about there. Now coming into the 3/8 where he's going to pick up a whole bunch of speed and use a whole lot of bumper, and yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, and it looked like the 2G right there of, I think that was Karenberg. Jason Karenberg was the one who ended up going around. I couldn't tell if he might have, when he went to shift, might have fell out of gear because that car slowed up a ton. Or maybe Snyder just had a really good run and carried a ton of momentum. It's hard to tell from this view.
So when we get out of the in-car view, let's keep an eye on and see what's going on for these drivers. I wonder how many of them are actually using the gearing to slow the car down, downshifting, and not actually romping on the brakes to load up the car in the corner. And you'll be able to tell the difference because if they load up on the brakes, the car will squat a little bit, whereas if they're just using the transmission, you're not going to see that same compression happen, especially in the front end of it. So we'll keep an eye on that once we go back to the up top view, but really interesting stuff here from Snyder's car as he's working on the outside of Duncan. Okay, so now we're going to get a look once again. That is Manning getting a little more dim outside, but boy, he's got a gigantic lead on the rest of this field over the halfway.
Yeah, he was able to take over the race lead, and here is second place Archie Lomax, as that is just a gigantic lead over the 4 laps from when he took over the top spot, as Lomax trying to hang on over Ryan Hassenfluck for that second spot with Bobby Fischer right there in 4th, and Calvin Miller rounding out your top 5. As it's been a fun and so far clean and green main event for the Interstate Battery Hornets here on Sparkle Wash night at the races at Evergreen Speedway as they continue to watch this battle for second rage on. As, I mean, 4 cars under Blake. This is fun to watch.
Yeah, so taking a look at it too, as they were walking into the chicane there, I didn't see a whole lot of cars going into what I would call dive going into that corner. It actually looks like a lot of them are probably using just a downshift to slow the cars naturally down without having to romp on the brakes. So that in-car shot taught us a little bit of something.
Yeah, and I'm sure maybe some of these drivers might have changed their way, going from heavy braking early on in the race when the brakes are nice and cool and working, to where later on in the race, where they might be a little too hot and possibly just too worn out later on in the race, and just need to use that downshift to really slow down the car that extra little bit.
Oh, Calvin Miller making a bid for the second position. He's got the inside on Lomax going into the 3/8, and he's got the spot. So give it to Miller, and trying to bring Hassenfluck in there with him. He will do so. And then in behind them, comes Christian Miller, no relation, as positions 2, 3, and 4 change.
Yeah, so Calvin Miller, who was one of the drivers that's going to be pulling double duty tonight, except he's going to do a Hornet and a Street Stock. We will see some do Hornets. Oh, as Fisher goes around, that's not good. He was battling just outside that shot that we were watching a second ago, right around the top 5, as he's going to lose a ton of position. So tough break there for the 81 of Fisher.
Bumper cover hanging off, but at least he gets to continue on. As another look at Manning. Down to 8 to go and carrying, I mean, almost like mini stock style speeds in that car. He is fast, fast, fast.
Yeah, and one car went around right there. That was a 69 of Zach Meyer, I believe. It looked like the gray car, gray 69 of his. So hopefully he's able to get it going, as that was in front of your race leader. And you know Blaine Manning does not want to see the yellow flag come out, as we stay green for now, as he's got a heck of a lot of cars in front of him he's going to have to battle with, and some pretty dang fast ones too.
I don't know. Just getting out of the traffic at this point in time might not be a bad thing for him either, is coming up on the slower cars and not knowing how they're going to behave might be a good thing, whereas caution comes out right now. He's going to have clear sailing for about 5 laps, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Might not be the worst thing.
Yeah, but also then you have the Calvin Millers, the Ryan Hasselflux, the other really fast guys who haven't really had a chance to challenge him yet, too, that you have to try to fend off. And with that heavy braking zone, you never know what could happen on a restart.
It is a double-edged sword, that's for sure. As you see him working his way into the slower cars, Guevara back there, and working to the inside, trying to put some more of them down a couple of laps, or down at least a lap. Coming into 5 to go, let's look backwards a little bit. Ryan Hasselflux and Christian Miller, that's 3rd, 4th, and in behind him 5th, Damon Claiborne, making a big bid to come up into your top 5.
And then we'll see Claiborne, that 43 machine, battle in the Stinger 8 race later on tonight. That got really close there for your race leaders. He got squeezed down by Guevara. Not sure if the Ford just didn't know he was there, or he just really wants to stay on the lead lap, as that was almost a disaster for Blaine Manning, as he almost got shoved into those Ute tires right there on the front straightaway.
Well, and is that Calvin Miller starting to close? Is that what I see? No, that's not Miller, not yet.
Not
He's
quite
still
there
a little
yet.
bit further behind.
So Blaine Manning has still quite a bit of breathing room for now, as we see the bumper cover of, I would assume, the 81 of Fisher that's come to rest right there on the outside of the South Pole. Out of harm's way, so that should not have to warrant a caution at least, as the 68 of Blaine Manning continues to pick him off, as he just has 3.5 laps remaining, and he's just got to keep it clean. I mean, it's easy in theory, but with these Hornets, so many of them out there, you never know what could happen. As we almost saw him get shoved in the U-tires by a lap car a few laps ago.
It is all but academic, however, just like you said, got to take her easy. Manning, see how easy he's willing to take it as he sails her into the turn. Meanwhile, for 3rd, Claiborne making a move. Hasselflux back in, swimming on him at the exit of the corner, and give Damon the spot.
Yeah, I'm not sure there was contact there, or the 33 miler just overdrove it from the pressure that Claiborne is putting on him. But Hasselflux, he's not going to go away easy. He's going to arc that corner a little bit, try to carry some momentum down, and get back to the back bumper of the 43. Not quite enough there. He's going to have to keep an eye on his rearview mirror now. It's 77 of Miller starting to put some pressure on him.
Miller thinking he wants 4th. Right up to the rear bumper cover, the 33 to the inside. He'll go down the straightaway as they build speed going into the corner with 2 to go, and Miller up to 4th.
Yeah, it's a great run for Christian Miller there. He started pretty far back as well. So he's been able to work his way forward, and it's hard for these drivers that qualify fast time, because it's a full invert on the field, and we flip them a complete invert. So the fast guys, when they don't get a caution, it's a hard, long race for them, because they have no help to try to work their way back forward. As the white flag is out for your race leader, Blaine Manning. He's in the middle of that pack right in front of that white car. That's the 68 of Blaine Manning down the back straightaway the final time.
Blaine Manning looking for, I believe, his 2nd Hornet win of the year. And down to the line of the checkered flag, Blaine Manning going to victory lane here in the Interstate Batteries Hornet division. Let's just hang on a second. Let's
get
wait.
out the sundial.
Yeah, we got a few.
There he goes. There
All
goes
right.
Calvin Miller by. That's how you go. The blue car. And then there's Damon Claiborne in the gray 43. So absolute clinic for Blaine Manning. Able to get through the heavy traffic early, take over the race lead, and comes home with his 2nd win of the year. As we're going to go down the Angelo Wins winners platform with Derek Todoroff, and hear from the entire top 3.
You were the dominant car tonight. Was it fair to say that you like the reverse boot?
Oh yeah, I love all these courses we run besides the normal course. It helps change everything, changes the points. It's fun.
You're the points leader. How does that feel from your perspective?
Oh, it feels good. I'm going to try to get this championship this year, so we'll see how it keeps going.
And do you have anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the car owner, my former boss, Exterior Wall Systems, GN Northwest, my race team, Hornets Nest Racing, and my dad and my friend Jeff.
Calvin, you're pulling double duty tonight, racing the street stocks as well. You are a race winner on the boot. What do you feel about the reverse boot here tonight?
I like how they change it up a lot. It throws a wrench in everybody's plans for what they got for the regular Hornet track, and I think they should keep at it.
How are you feeling about your street stock race tonight?
We will see. I'm really tired and hot, and I want to take a break, and we're just going to rest up and see what we can do in street stocks.
All right, and you got anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Northwest Poly Services, my mom, my dad, my sister, Jack and Tammy, Jason Ingbaum for pit crewing, and it's my dad's birthday today.
Now on opening night, I walked through the pits with Caleb Hart, and we ran into you, and you told us there was a story with the Fred Flintstone in your car. Want to walk us through that?
Yeah, so my dad's been racing since about 74, 75. He raced at several different tracks, and he handed the reins over to me, but he started this tradition of running this plastic Fred Flintstone in his car. Not sure why, but he did. And later on, my grandma actually carved one out of wood, and that's the one that's in the car now. So it's been on racetracks for about 40 years.
Well, third place looked pretty good. What do you feel about the reverse boot?
Oh, I absolutely love it. Let's do it every time. The boot, reverse boot, change it up. I love it.
Got anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my wife and her business, Abendroth Equine. If you're looking to just improve your horse riding skills or train your horse, she's the one to go to. And I want to thank Brandy Hood Promotions. She's been awesome doing all my vinyl. She's doing my GoPro work for me. And just thank you to all the people showing up. I know it was cold and looked like it was going to rain, so thank you for being here.
A fast-paced and fun episode of Home Track Heroes on the CW11 continues. Caleb Hart and Kyler Hope guiding you through your Sunday night. And we're going to segue, finally going to get some of the V8s out there. The vintage modified main event coming up next. One of the most unique classes of cars you're going to see at Evergreen Speedway all year, and a lot of fun to be had with these guys as well.
Exactly, yeah. Moving on to the 3/8 mile for the first time as well tonight, as they are just a fun class to be around. Awesome cars to get up close and personal and really look at. So if you like what you see on your screen, come out to Evergreen Speedway next time they're on the schedule, as they are fun to watch. As on the front row, we got the 57 of Shane Strimple, and is outside the 8 of Jason Quasso.
Row number 2, Robert Rux, the Sticker Boys. Number 88, Rick Villiard in the Archer Construction. Number 2 starts outside row number 2.
Row number 3, we got the 82 of Vince Conwell. It is outside of the 30 of Kyton Jones, sponsored by Benchmark Barrels.
Row number 4 is the 22, Steve Woods, is sponsored by First Day Electric. Brian Cottrell scheduled to go outside row number 4 in car number 10.
And rounding out the field is the 92 of Todd McCartney, sponsored by Streamline Auto Body. And Cottrell was your fast time qualifier in the yellow number 10, but he had some issues in his heat race, so hopefully they're able to get that figured out. He wasn't able to finish his heat race, so with some mechanical woe. So hopefully they got those bugs worked out in that 10 machine. As he was fast time. He's usually fun to watch in these vintage modifieds, as he's going to be coming back from the outside of row number 4.
You hear a lot of stories about Cottrell fixing other guys' race cars, working on other guys' cars, going over into their pits and helping them with setups and stuff. Hopefully he got a lot of hands to help him get his own rig back together. So the vintage modifieds, the vintage part of them is the bodies, but these are late model style suspension. I mean, there's a lot of modern speed to be had in these cars. Like Kyler, you said, they are very cool to take a look at up close and personal, as they're going to roll off the corner for 30 fast-paced laps. We are underway in an excellent start coming from the 57 of Strimple. Oh,
as big wiggle right there. Hang on to it, and he does. That was the 8 of Quasso, who got really loose on entry and almost stacked up quite a few cars right there in turn number 1, as we stay clean and green, as that was really close to disaster on lap number 1 for the vintage modifieds, as they come roaring by the front straightaway. And it's going to be Strimple is going to lead lap number 1 with, is that Brian Cottrell already in 4th?
It looks like it. Look for the bright bright yellow 10 car. He's already up to 2nd. So Cottrell, whatever the fix was in that, clearly retained all the speed, as he's going to be hunting down Strimple. Now, Strimple was still working on his front suspension on this car up into right before the week. I mean, he is picking up new A-arms and such like that for lengths. It's not going to help him hold off Cottrell, though. Holy cow.
Yeah, that 10 car is fast. He's going to go around the outside and not even 2 complete laps in, and Cottrell goes from 8th to 1st in that 10 car, and he is checking out from the field early. It looked like the 57 had a little bit of smoke last time by on the front straightaway. We have to keep an eye on that. It's a weird place for a car to smoke like that. I'm not quite sure how he has that left front setup. It looked like where the smoke was coming from heavy. Yeah, right there, straight off the corner. So I'll have to keep an eye on that throughout the race to see how that progresses.
It would be an odd spot. I mean, they're modifieds, right? They've got no fenders up on the front tires, so there's nothing for it to rub on there. I wonder if as the car is squatting down the front straightaway, or as he's getting more of the power into the rear tires, if something's coming down on the rear suspension, that's where it's kicking out of. I don't know. Like I said, Strimple was in buying a new A-arm to kind of change the length around on his front of that car. So next time I get a chance, I'll ask him, see what he did.
Yeah, because it's still smoking pretty heavy down the front straightaways. We watch Woods and Kyton Jones work their way forward. These two have been on the podium plenty of times here at Evergreen Speedway in the vintage modified class, as they have put on some great battles in the past, as Steve Woods trying to get around Quatsover second and bring the 30 of Kyton Jones with him, as that looks like will be completed coming out of turn number 4 this time by. So new second and third place is Steve Woods and Kyton Jones, as they have Brian Cottrell. They need almost a telescope to figure out where he's at, because he's gone.
Yeah, they're going to need a miracle. They're going to need a stoppage, and hopefully the stoppage is Cottrell himself. Maybe some of the Bondo or baling wire that went back into fixing that car comes apart. As caution on the speedway.
There it is. Yeah, so we mentioned how they were going to need a caution or some help to try to hunt down the 12 or the 10 of Cottrell, as that is the 88 of Rux coming to a stop in turn number 3, as he's able to get fired back up. Not sure what happened there, if car died on him or if he maybe spun around, as he was just outside the top 5 was Rux at the time of the caution, so he's able to get him moving as we get ready for a restart here momentarily. They do single file restarts here at the Vintage Modifieds.
All right, so we'll get that lined up and ready to go. Tell you this segment brought to you by Drive Auto Sports. Need speed? Get faster with dyno tuning at Drive Auto Sports in Everett. Low car? Align it properly on the in-ground alignment system for slammed cars at Drive Auto Sports. Get supercharged at Drive Auto Sports. Go faster, turn quicker, brake harder with performance packages from the specialists at Drive Auto Sports in downtown Everett.
I wonder if Cottrell took his car there, because he is hooked up and fast, because he has got that 10 machine figured out for sure.
Yeah, he has speed to spare at this point in time. Nearly a full straightaway and more over Woods and Jones. And we know Woods and Jones are no slouches. So, again, Cottrell has got something figured out early season here in the vintage mods.
Yeah, well, that was pretty good timing, though, for both Steve Woods and Kyton Jones, because they had just gotten around and into second and third positions. And so now they're going to be right behind Cottrell. They got 22 laps to try to hunt him down, maybe force a mistake or grab the lead early here and then try to hold off the 10 machine, as that is the one to go from John Peterson in the flag stand. Lights out on the Speedway Chevrolet Camaro pace car, as we got an exciting one ahead of us here with the Vintage Modifieds. Their first time out here at Evergreen Speedway in 2022. Is it's Cottrell, Steve Woods, and Kyton Jones, your top 3.
Cottrell's going to have to be good. He can't slouch. He can't relax. He's going to have to stay on the hammer and be very, very good over the last few laps. I say few laps. Still got 22 to go. So he's got a long road to hoe, although they're going to go very, very quickly as they were turning some very fast lap times. Lights out. Pace vehicle in. John Peterson says, let's go. And green flag is flying, and ooh, look to the onboard for Kyton Jones. This will be fun.
Yeah, he has a front row seat of what could end up being a really good battle between Steve Woods and Brian Cottrell, as a little bit of a bumper there from Kyton Jones looks like, as they go down the back straightaway. And I just love this view, watching them work the wheels off the car. It's a little bit of was that a little bit of water that got sprayed up there? Possibly. So they have to fight through all the elements going down the back straightaway, as they're not letting Cottrell check away as quickly as they did last time.
Definitely not. What a great look at the inside of the Jones Vintage Modified. You can see he and Woods are keeping Cottrell within striking distance. In fact, Jones is close enough to make something happen on Woods if Woods makes a boo-boo at any point in time. Very smooth ride for Jones. He's got a really nice shock and spring package in that car. As you can see, yeah, a little bit of bouncing with the gyration of the racetrack, but that's about it.
Yeah, and it's really fun watching. I mean, it's not getting as loose off the corner as we've seen in years past. It's a little bit cooler night there. These guys, when they come back later in the summer, especially on Summer Showdown weekend, they would be sliding those cars around quite a bit, and they're a ton of fun to watch as they go down the back straight. You see that little bit of moisture coming up as Steve Woods, he's starting to hunt down the 10 of Cottrell as they kind of separate from third place. Kyton Jones going down in turns 3 and 4, or 1 and 2 this time. Such a great view from Kyton Jones right here watching the battle for the race lead.
Yeah, we're getting a front row seat to the battle for those top two as here comes Woods deep in on Cottrell. Cottrell having to go into defensive mode as there is less than a car that separates the two of them. And from the inside of the Jones cockpit, you can see Woods is kind of experimenting a little bit. He's changing lines up, etc. as they get around slower cars. He's going to make a bid to the outside here on Cottrell coming off of corner number 4.
What a move, going 3 wide with the lapper. Almost is able to carry the momentum around and stick to the outside of Cottrell. Not quite enough as looks like the 22 is going to slide a little bit on entry. So that's going to hurt that right rear tire and heat it up a little bit. So possibly a little too much wear there as we're going to go back to just a top shot as we continue to watch this battle for the race lead as it's Cottrell still leading over Steve Woods. But I think Steve Woods might have the faster machine here.
He might. Now, we said it earlier in the program, catching him is one thing, passing him is another. As you can see, he's fighting the handle a little bit on corner exit at turn number 2. Now, from that cockpit shot, you can see there was no in-car adjustments really available to him. It's not like they've got the ability to change a shock or spring rate of anything. So they're stuck with what they have. They have to adjust to the changing track, and they're changing race car as tires heat up, fuel load burns off. In a 30-lapper on these tires, I don't imagine you're going to see a massive, massive tire change, but you never know.
Yeah, you're going to see a little bit, but it really depends on how hard you push it. And if you're sliding the car around, if you have it set up to where it's a loose race car and you're putting a lot of pressure on that right rear sliding around, like we saw Steve Woods do a few times on corner entry and exit in 1 and 2, it could really, really cause some wear on that right rear tire, which ultimately would affect the drive off of these vintage modifieds. But so far, it hasn't really affected Steve Woods because he's able to start hunting down the 10 of Cottrell again as he really closes the gap that time by.
He is right there, just sniffing at him, trying to find a way past him. Cottrell, to his credit, has not panicked, has not bobbled. He just continues running a consistent line. Now he's got the slower car in front of him that he will dispatch quickly. Couldn't catch the number on who that was that he was dispatching, but Cottrell gets past him in a hurry, and that's a big deal for him because that doesn't allow Woods to capitalize on slower traffic. We're down to 10 to go, and Woods continuing to try to figure out the right pattern to get past Brian Cottrell.
Yeah, we mentioned how quickly these laps can go by as they are turning some blistering laps here. So just 10 laps remaining. Steve Woods closing that gap all the way back up to less than half a car length. It's just trying to find the right line, the right combination of corners to get a good run on Cottrell as he looks to the outside in 1 and 2 this time by. Nothing there, loses quite a bit of ground, but he's going to have a good momentum going down the back straight into 3 and 4. Just trying to find the right combination, can't quite do it yet. Possibly going to have to bring that front bumper into play.
You can almost see him looking to the outside. Of course, I say that as he peeks to the inside going into 1, but kind of trying to set up a pass where he tries to carry his speed through the outside of 3 and 4. He entered the corner a half groove higher the time before. He did it again this time, but ends up tucking back down into line. So you gotta wonder, is Woods gonna try to carry the outside the whole way around? There's been one spot that he's consistently lost ground to Cottrell. It's been on the exit of 2. He's been pretty good through 3 and 4. If he can get the combination figured out in 1 and 2, set up the pass in 3 and 4, that's probably his best shot. See him swinging wide off of 4 again as they come into 1 and 2. Now, if he doesn't lose a ton of ground here, he might have a shot. It was a decent corner for him, so let's see if he goes for it here.
Yeah, he's still trying. I mean, it looks like he's never run the same line twice with how much he's exploring. Just can't get the right groove selected to carry a run on a complete lap. Like you said, through 3 and 4, he's able to carry a ton of momentum, get all the way almost to the back bumper. But like you said, off turn number 2 just doesn't have enough. And right there with the lap traffic coming into play, Cottrell ducked down a little bit earlier, so he's right there, just does not have enough. Playing a little conservative there, coming with 4 to go this time by.
Kyton Jones also entering the picture here in the very, very late stages of this, but we're watching Brian Cottrell, the yellow 10, the white with blue 22 of Steve Woods engaged in war for the win. And there it is, sailing it into the middle and the outside. Can Woods keep her pegged up there?
Cottrell moving up a little bit to block, but like you said, he's able to finally get to the outside and carry that momentum, but just does not have enough drive off at 1 and 2.
Can he take another shot at it going into this corner? There he goes again. Can't get even enough. That's going to allow Cottrell to wash a little bit wider down the front straightaway and carry a little more momentum into 1. We're down to 2 to go in this great battle for your lead.
Yeah, and just a little bobble from either of these guys is really going to bring Kyton Jones in the picture. Like you said, he has come out of nowhere from third place in that 30 machine. Jess is going to run out of laps to do it, though. White flag this time by. We'll see what Steve Woods has for Cottrell. Let's see if he's going to use that bumper or not.
All right, Cottrell and Woods into 1 and 2. Back straightaway. Woods close. Getting into 3. 2 corners left to decide it. A slower car there. It will not be a factor. Off the turn, give the win to Cottrell.
Steve Woods comes home second, Kyton Jones third, and I think Steve Woods played that maybe a little too nice. He could have used his bumper there a few times, opted not to. Some class driving from both Steve Woods and Brian Cottrell. What a fun battle those last 22 laps. They are never more than really 2 car lengths away from each other, as we'll head down to the Angelo Wins platform and hear from all 3 of your top 3.
All right, Brian. You broke in the heat race. You come out into the main, and you fly to the front in 3 laps.
Yeah, I'd like to. The Lord saved, made it really safe for him. It's all out there tonight. But I want to thank Greg Scott, Mike Kiles, Steve Bond, Bill Fleischacker for all the work they do on the car. We blew a power steering line. Set fast time. I never set fast time. I suck at qualifying. But it's been a really good day for us. I mean, this has been a long time coming.
You had the 22 bearing down at you that entire race. How did you keep your composure?
Well, Steve's a great guy. He's a great, clean race car driver. Raced with him in street stocks, and he always, races a guy the way he's raced. So I wasn't too worried about that part. I just kept looking forward and didn't look behind me.
You thanked a few people already. Have anyone else you'd like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, most definitely. I'd like to thank Dirt Cheap Sewer Company. They helped me out a lot. Angel, thanks a lot, buddy. And Scott at Adventure Motorsports here in Monroe. If anybody's looking for a motorcycle, side-by-side, quad, anything that has to do with power sports, go to Adventure Motorsports, ask for Scott, tell him Brian sent you, and he'll give you a great deal. It's an awesome place.
Well, you were chasing down Cottrell that entire race. What was it like from your perspective?
I just had a blast, man. I tried high, tried low. There was water on the track. It was a blast. I was all over the place.
How does it feel to be out here in front of Evergreen Speedway?
I love coming out here, man. Best fans, best car counts. It's an awesome place to be.
Got anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, I got a lot of people. So my wife, Rebecca, my dad that couldn't make it tonight, Rick Villiard, First Day Electric, Dirk's Trucking, and I got a new sponsor, AccuVac Furnace and Duct Cleaning.
Chasing those 2 all night, what was it like from your perspective?
It's tough. They don't make mistakes, and I can't make mistakes either. And yeah, we got some work to do on our car. It takes 10 laps for it to come in, and then I can run with them, but I can't do anything with them in the beginning.
Who's this up here with you?
This is my son, Camden. Want it?
Got anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
I'd like to thank my dad, Shorty's in over there, Keith in the pits, Benchmark Barrels, Berg's Custom Cylinder Heads, and anybody who touches my car, really.
Home Track Heroes continues on the CW11. Caleb Hart and Kyler Hope here with you. Glad you're with us, having a good time as we're going to move to the figure 8 track. Finally, the Buzz Inn Steakhouse Stinger 8s on Raceway for their A main event here. We love figure 8 racing. It's the best.
Exactly, yeah. We had the V8s last segment. Now we're going to go back to the 4-cylinders that we absolutely love with the Buzz Inn Steakhouse Stinger 8s. 30 laps for their main event. And that 13 car, normally it's Tyler Draper, but he has moved away from us. He's no longer living in Washington State. And so we have the father of last year's Rookie of the Year, Jackson Beckel. That's Josh Beckel in the 13J now on the front row. And his outside the 11 of Sierra Goss.
Row number 2, it'll be Derek Myers, the Boney Brothers Racing, number 73. And next to him, it's the 111. Ashley Shucar drives that. Be Happy Carpet Cleaning, the sponsor on that car.
Like I mentioned, Jackson Beckel in the 18J, sponsored by JBR Racing on the inside of row number 3. It is outside the 43 of Damon Claiborne, sponsored by Raritan's Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Monroe.
4th road's Peyton Hop. Hop in the Papa's Tavern, number 16. Next to him, Joe Sturba, car number 44.
Rounding out the field, we got the 40 of Andrew Reiner, sponsored by Woodby Donuts, and the 1 of Brandon Lindbergh, sponsored by Cox Wheels Racing, your defending champion, coming from the back.
All right, I'm just throwing it out there now. Jackson Beckel, if you put a bumper to the old man, I got a buck for you. Just saying. You get very few opportunities to nerf your dad legally. Do it here. It's going to be fun, man.
How much for a door hit in the intersection? Is that
$2?
$2? Okay.
$2, yeah. $1 for a solid nerf. $2 if he gives him a door dinger, as we're up and underway. And Josh Beckel may have in-car radio because he might have heard me. He is trying to get far, far away from his son. Granted, his kid's 4 spots back, as Beckel leads through what we call the North Pole here on the figure 8 track. So that's the North Pole that they just came around. This is the South Pole. So if you hear us referring to that terminology, that's what we're talking about.
So Beckel able to lead lap number 1. Derek Myers working his way up into second over teammate the 11 of Sierra Goss. So Sierra Goss is in a new car for her. She's going to get the bumper from Beckel, and Beckel's going to get the kind of a chain reaction. Everyone's going sideways. Beckel went sideways. Peyton Hop went sideways as they all stay green somehow. That's really going to let the top 2 check out, as I think almost every single car had a little bit of contact there. That was almost like the Youth Hornets we saw in their first main event get all stacked up going to number 1. That looked very similar right there.
For the record, I am not paying Beckel $1 to put the nerf to other people, only his dad. So is Peyton Hop going to rally? Hop, last year's Hornet track champion?
That is correct. Yeah, he was able to capture the Interstate Batteries Hornet Championship, and he moved on to the Stingers this year, as he's been working his way, making a lot of progression on that 16 car, as he's got that bumper cover hanging off from the contact there, as that's Lindbergh in the 1 to the outside, but he's got nowhere to go because they're 2 wide right in front of him with a really good battle between Hop and Jackson Beckel.
I'm surprised that Beckel left the door open that wide for Hop to come back around. Now, where he had problems the last time by was right there on the outside of the South Pole. Let's see if he can rally back and get back to the inside of Beckel going into the North Pole, and this time Beckel gets down, says, no, sir, not this time by.
And Lindbergh also able to get around Hop, carrying around that outside momentum, followed Beckel through as we continue. I mean, their leaders are nowhere in sight right now as these 5 cars continue to battle just outside the top 2, as it's Derek Myers, Josh Beckel, your top 2, is almost some intersection action there with Sierra Goss and your points leader, Brandon Lindbergh, in the 1.
You love to see it. Intersection coming in early here as Lindbergh kind of stuck behind Beckel, and we've seen those 2 run 1-2 just in opposite order already this year on Home Track Heroes. Now it's Beckel with a chance to keep Lindbergh in behind him as he tries to track down your top 2 out in front of the field. Lindbergh going to poke to the outside in the North Pole, settles back, and will tuck in behind Beckel on the way in and through.
23 laps still to go in the Buzzin' Steakhouse Stinger 8 main event, as a little bit of lap traffic for your race leaders now. Going to stall them up a little bit as Josh Beckel and Derek Myers catch the 11 of Sierra Goss, who we saw get spun around in that early incident. We stayed green as the top 4 are really starting to bunch up now.
Yeah, that's 3rd and 4th place car of Beckel. And behind him, Lindbergh right in on Josh Beckel, your leader. And Josh not having an easy time of getting around Goss. Goss we've seen do some good things, lead some laps on the year in the Stinger 8s. Finally, Beckel will get to the inside, make his way underneath, but Sierra put up a fight, and in behind him, you got to look. We've got positions changing.
Yeah, Jackson Beckel was able to get to the inside of Myers, and Lindbergh tried to follow through, but now Goss is going to be there. It's almost a little bit of a pick. That's some really close quarter racing there in the Stinger 8s, but Beckel able to get through now to 3rd place over Derek Myers. As now we got a Beckel versus a Beckel battle here for the top spot shaping up.
I'm about to lose $1. I can feel it coming into the South Pole. Here comes Jackson. Checking in on Dad Josh, bringing Lindbergh with, and that's probably the bigger concern right now for Jackson is how close Lindbergh is and continues to be. As you get a look at Hop, that rear bumper cover not going anywhere with the neon underneath Damon Claiborne's car, doing double duty tonight, putting some pressure on him, trying to move his way around.
As it looks like we got some shaping up, some battle shaping up for the top spot. Lindbergh able to get around Jackson Beckel, and now it's a Beckel sandwich with Lindbergh in the middle. As here they come, some great battling here, side by side still for second. Lindbergh not able to clear Jackson as he tried to pass Josh, as they're going to go down the South Pole, and that's a bumper from Lindbergh, not Beckel. So your dollar safe for now.
For now.
as we continue to watch them as they go around the South Pole into the intersection. Coming to 17 to go this time by. Still plenty of laps remaining, but these top three, they're fighting like it's the last lap already.
Well, Jackson Beckel's trying to play a little defense, too. He was trying to string Lindbergh out on one of the outside grooves getting in through the poles. Might have a shot to do it here. Can Beckel get back to the inside of Lindbergh? That's Jackson in the blue with black trim car. Dad Josh is in the red with white number 13, and I think he just gave Lindbergh a little too much room.
Yep, and Lindbergh able to squeak his way through and take over the top spot with 16 laps to go, and Jackson's able to follow him right through. He passes that cleanly, so I think your dollar is safe for now.
I mean, good job.
So as they continue to battle on, I mean, we've seen this time and time again with the Buzz and Steakhouse Stingray. It's Brandon Lindbergh followed by Jackson Beckel. 1 and 2 is, I mean, it's a pretty common theme in this class.
It has been. Now, just in case Josh Beckel has got the in-car radio going, I will give you $2 to put the hard front nerf to your kid. Just saying. It's worth it to me.
You're trying to tear apart this family, aren't you?
I am just trying to watch race cars hit each other. That's all.
So we go back in the pack right here. We see Derek Myers, who was in the top 3 early on. He sits 4th position right now behind Josh Beckel with Peyton Hopp and Damon Claiborne. So this battle for the final transfer spot is going to heat up pretty quickly. As we also have the 40 Andrew Reinders right there and the 44 of Sturba. So really, it's anyone's race for this third final transfer spot, as they're all under a blanket nose to tail right here and they going through the intersection.
Claiborne finally got by Hopp. I'm surprised he was able to get by him without running that bumper cover over and knocking it off. As here in our main event, 13 laps to go. Josh Beckel in third, the red with white 13. In behind him, the Boney Brothers machine, driven by Derek Myers. Myers in the 73, and now Claiborne up to 5th. So get another look at your leader. Lindbergh actually spacing himself out a little bit from Beckel, and Beckel having to take evasive action in the intersection.
Yeah, that's tough when you're trying to hunt down the race leader, and then you looked over to your right and you see 2 cars coming at you in the intersection. You have to take evasive action to avoid getting hit. As right here, they're having to check up, Josh Beckel having to check up for those 2 lap cars in the intersection. That's really going to bring these 6 cars all together, as we're going to go to this intersection shot and see how close it is. Oh, it's so close, with Ashley Shukar almost getting clipped by the 13J of Josh Beckel.
That let Myers get back to the inside of Claiborne for a spot. Now Claiborne's going to have the advantage going into the North Pole as they just scoot past the slower traffic, and there's Claiborne. Opportunity for third for Damon, and he's got the spot at the line.
Yeah, he came flying through, and he put the bumper to Beckel, and Beckel got hooked up with him, as it looked like those possibly the front bumper of Beckel got hooked up on the rear end of Claiborne as they came up, and that Uke tire came up so close. We see that time and time again. Just cars get so close together. It's kind of like a funnel right there going around into the South Pole. Yellow flag's going to come out for Claiborne. Tough break there as he just cracked the podium. As we'll take a look at the replay of it, as it just came, all the cars came together real quick.
Well, as you get another look at the Claiborne spin, this restart and this segment brought to you by the IBEW and NECA, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 191 in Everett, the National Electrical Contractors Association Cascade chapter in Mount Vernon. They're powering our communities. Union members earn more money, have better benefits, and greater job security. Big thank you to the IBEW and NECA for all of their support of Evergreen Speedway.
Yep, so tough break for Josh Beckel there, as he had such a good run going, and he's going to get put to the back of the pack after that contact with Claiborne. So 2 of our faster guys are sitting right around that third and final podium spot, are now in the back of the pack, so we'll have to keep an eye on them as they have to work their way back forward. That puts Derek Myers back into third, Andrew Reinders and Joe Sturba right there in row number 2. So this is going to get exciting here on this restart, as Lindbergh really able to get a good jump going down to the South Pole.
Side-by-side in behind him. I love the side-by-side restarts in the back of the pack in the Delaware-style restart. It's going to be Lindbergh getting away, and Jackson Beckel hangs on to second. Meanwhile, for third, working his way up there in car number 40, that's Reinders, and Reinders really making life tough for Derek Myers. Myers still holds the spot, but the advantage in the inside lane going into the South Pole belongs to Reinders, who's going to have it coming into the intersection.
Yeah, the 40 of Reinders, he's done a great job, played a very patient race so far. As before that last caution, he was sitting at the back end of all these cars, so he was about 8th or 9th position, just trying to play it calm, not doing too much, and he's done his race really well, because now he's up to the 3rd spot after avoiding all the issues that we saw with Claiborne and Josh Beckel. And great job for Andrew, as he's done a phenomenal job tonight.
Speaking of guys who have done a good job, Joe Sturba, first time we've seen him this year, car number 44, is knocking on the door, trying to get around Myers. has an opportunity to do so coming in the South Pole. Down to just 7 laps to go, so if drivers have anything left in their back pocket, now's the time to throw it on the table and play their cards.
Yeah, well, figure eight racing is definitely the one discipline of racing where it's not over till it's over, because we've seen some crazy last lap instances here on Home Track Heroes in all 3 divisions, as Claiborne looking to the outside a hop, trying to work his way back forward, but coming up on just 5.5 laps to go for your race leader. As you see, he has to deal with a little bit of intersection action still, so it's by no means completely over for Lindbergh, but he's doing a great job of fronting that one machine.
All right, 5 left. You're right, Lindbergh coming up, and you've got Sierra Goss slowing going to the intersection, so Lindbergh gonna have to pick it up. We'll go to the inside of Goss, who is a non-factor, at least in the battle for the lead at the moment, and continues to stretch his advantage.
Yeah, Jackson Beckel, he's not letting Lindbergh completely check out, so one little mistake from Lindbergh, or one of those kind of confusing spots in the intersection where, hey, I'll slow, no, you slow, one instance like that could really bring Beckel all the way back to the back bumper of Lindbergh. So we'll see what happens here. Coming around just 3 laps remaining for your defending series champion, Brandon Lindbergh.
You wonder if Lindbergh's going to go into race management mode, because I don't think he wants to catch the back of that field any more than what he is right now. If he just backs off the pace a little bit, he might have a nice, calm, cool, and collected intersection for the finals, although he is starting to split some cars. So Lindbergh, he too likes to live dangerously.
Exactly, as there is the 111, I believe, of Shukar that's split between your top 2 right now. So a little bit of a gap here, a lap and a half to go for Lindbergh over Jackson Beckel. Andrew Reiner sitting nice and comfortably in that 3rd spot as well.
You can control your own pace, but you can't control that of the rest of the field, so if any of them are actually slowing down at this point too, it's not like Lindbergh can stay way out of it. There's the white flag. He will cross the intersection. Just got to make one more intersection pass, the most dangerous intersection on planet Earth, and through he goes.
Yep, he's able to get it done. So coming around the North Pole for the final time, going 3 for 3, I believe, on the year is Brandon Lindbergh as he gets the checkered flag. Here comes Jackson Beckel, home second, and Andrew Reinders rounding out the podium.
Well, buzz-in Stingrates were fun. We expected that. Good drama up front, good racing through the entirety of the field, and Lindbergh, another win. Him, Jackson Beckel, the younger of the 2, and Andrew Reinders down to the front straightaway. It is interview time, and we'll kick things down to Derek Todoroff.
You're up here so often, I run out of questions to ask you. So who's the hardest driver to pass out there?
Honestly, I have to say Andrew Reinders. He hits his marks every single time you're behind him. You get on the outside of him, and he gets it just wide enough so you can't hold a groove, but he's not wide enough to say that he's doing 2 grooves. He hits his marks, it holds his groove, and he's just awesome, solid, like steady, clean runner. So it's actually fun running with him.
And who's up here with you tonight?
This is my son, Brandon Jr.
Oh.
Yeah. Nobody was beating me tonight. Sean Peters is my best friend. He passed away quite some years ago, and tonight is his birthday. Jackson mentioned it before, but happy birthday, Sean boy. I miss you and I love you.
Have anyone else you'd like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank Hager Motorsports, and yet again, he put a tire on my car after a heat race today, 2 weeks in a row. 2.5 Men Barbecue, Brandy Hood Promotions, JBR, and mostly Cox Wheels Racing, Ingbaum Dirt Works, but man, Dawson letting me run his car for the 2nd year in a row. I got to give that kid a kiss.
What was it like racing with your dad tonight?
I mean, it was pretty eventful when I was behind him, but he ended behind me, so I don't know.
You're chasing down Brandon Lindbergh quite a bit. You two seem to be friends, though.
Yeah, he's a little bit better than I am. He's got... Okay, I guess he doesn't wreck me either. He passes me cleanly, but no, I enjoy racing with you, Brandon.
And you have anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
JBR, John Bender, Mike Jensen, Steve Cox, Dawson Cox, everyone that helps me out in the car, and happy birthday, Sean. We love you. We miss you.
Well, you're 3rd place in points, 3rd place in this race. What's the season look like to you right now?
I honestly don't know what the whole season looked like, other than just watching traffic and just being a little patient. And I kind of thought I could make some bumps and make some passes, but once I saw Damon spun, I was able to miss it and somehow get to the top 3 and still put up a good finish.
Got anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Big thanks to my parents for being here, and Whidbey Donuts. They got the best donuts, and always happy to get them on the podium. And Brandy Chavez for the decals. Most importantly, the fans for being here.
Well, it is a big field of street stocks hitting the track for our main event of the evening here on Home Track Heroes. 30 laps on the 3/8 of the street stocks. Kyler, this is going to be a good time. Let's meet your drivers for the lineup for this main event.
Exactly, yep. Fun class, been some of the best racing we've seen all year. And starting on the front row is the 06 Seattle Auto Works machine, driven by Steve Potasic, and is outside the 19 of Jake Grant, sponsored by Stein's Tap House.
Row number 2, Jeff Watson, the Snohomish County Excavating number 51. Next to him, Ted Lindgren, the American Image Hair Replacement number 88.
The 2021 champion Mark Hubbard is in row number 3, sponsored by Interstate Batteries. It's the 41, and is outside the guy who's been 2 for 2 perfect all year long, the 3 of Jesse Jensen, sponsored by Dustin Bradley Industrial.
Mike Marthaler in the direct carpet cleaning number 44 starts in the 7th place. 8th, Doug Poirier in the Ox Chassis 57 car.
Next up, we have the 14 of Colin Hubbard, sponsored by Let's Sack Cancer, and 10th on the starting grid is the 85 of Jim Fody.
Behind them, Calvin Miller, second time we've seen him on the night, Northwest Poly Services Concrete Lifting Company number 49. Sheridan Vincent, his outside in the 43.
We got the 22 of Kenny Erickson, sponsored by AOC Forestry, on the inside of the next row, and his outside for the first time coming down from Canada. That's the 15 of Brent Rohr, sponsored by Harding Motorsports.
Austin Camp in 69, the Ad Taxi, his sponsor. Scott Perkins 16, all about transmission and automotive, and that is Blaine Fagerly in the Stingray Auto Repair 03, making the rest of the field.
A huge field of street stocks as we see the Sparkle Wash truck making his way off the track. That means we're about to go green flag racing, 30 laps for the main event on the night, as it is exciting. The night is all built up to this, the best class of street stocks we have all year long. I think we got 18 or 19 of them as they come through 3 and 4, getting the green flag. Steve Potasic leading them down the front straightaway.
They have really been putting a lot of work in the Potasic car, making it look better and faster every week, and he's going to reward them by leading lap number 1 and really gapping Jake Grant something big going into turn number 3. Nice run by Potasic on the opening lap. Let's see if he can keep the momentum up.
Yeah, he was able to really arc off of corner number 2 really well and open up a huge gap as you see him going down. You saw him go down the back straightaway, really gap second place Jake Grant. As now Grant, he's kind of separated himself from that battle for third, and he's going to try to get away from that hungry pack of cars. We got Jensen and Mark Hubbard right there, is sitting in positions 5 and 6, as they have been more dominant cars throughout the year and just been fun to watch. Jeff Watson there in the bright yellow 51, hard to miss his car anywhere on the track.
Here comes Jesse Jensen. You mentioned it, up in the 4th spot and using the outside groove to his advantage. That's Ted Lindgren to his inside. Lindgren's had a lot of speed this year, so the fast guy's already on the move and on the hunt early. But it is Potasic trying to run away and hide from him. Grant in second is going to be the clog point. Let's see if anybody can get to Grant and get around him to try to get up and threaten Potasic. But right now, Potasic running.
Yeah, you have 2 through 8 on your screen right now, as it's a great battle inside the top 5. Anywhere you look on track, it's a good battle, and no one's really that far separated from anyone else besides Steve Potasic up front, who's really trying to check out. You still see Jesse Jensen work that outside of Lindgren, trying to take over that 3rd spot on the podium, and he looks like he might be able to do it this time through 3 and 4. That 3-car carrying a ton of speed down the back straightaway.
Man, the Cruiswick Mobile is looking sharp. It's running sharp, and again, Jesse's shown all year the ability to drive it high, drive it low, wherever it needs to be, whenever it needs to be, as he has got a podium spot by a nose. Lindgren giving him fits, though, on the inside, and both of them going to make life really tough for Jake Grant.
Yeah, Jeff Watson, I'm keeping an eye on him in that 51 machine as he's trying to find his way through, but now he's got Doug Poirier and Mark Hubbard looking to his inside and his outside as Lindgren checks up big time. Not quite sure what happened there as the caution flag comes out. That might have been what happened, as we have a car around in turn number 3 and 4 is what I was being told. As it was the 3 of Fagerly who went around. He got it fired back up and is going to take the tail end of the field. So we're going to try to catch our breath right there because that was starting to get really intense. We saw Lindgren check up. We saw Poirier and Hubbard both put a lot of pressure on Watson. I mean, there's good battles all over the place.
And the guy who hated that the most was Potasic, because Potasic, he was rabbiting. That's the terminology. Get out and get gone, and you hope it stays clean and green at that point in time, because every battle for position is time that you're putting on the rest of the field. Now, we're going to stack them up and go 2x2 as we go back to racing action. This segment brought to you by Tire Pros. Proud to welcome Tire Pros, our new sponsor and the official tire dealer of Evergreen Speedway. Tire Pros, your one-stop tire retailer where honesty is the best policy, and they have a hassle-free guarantee. Tire Pros has all the national brands and offers a nationwide warranty on your tires. Go to TirePros.com. Get you some new tires today.
Exactly, yeah. So we're going to hop on board here in a second. We'll go with Jeff Watson inside of row number 3 in that 51 machine, coming off of turn number 4, as he is going to have a great view of this battle. He's going to try to follow that 3-car, Jesse Jensen. I mean, if you're Jeff Watson, second-year street stock driver, you're going to want to fill up your notebook right here on the 3 of Jesse Jensen and try to see what he does and really go to town and really go to school right here and figure out what he's doing.
I want to point something out to you here, and maybe right now is not the best example of it, but look how calm his hands are inside that cockpit. He is really not monster trucking that steering wheel. And going back to the little bit of go-karting that I know, the less you turn, the less speed you're scrubbing. Just watch. He comes off the corner, straightens it out, little turn in, and then just barely touching the steering wheel as little as he needs to get through the turn. And that's part of the reason you're seeing Watson running in position number 4 right now. He is very comfortable in the cockpit of that car.
Yeah, it looks like that the car is driving really well. He's not having to fight the wheel a lot, like you said. Car's going right where he needs it to go, not really bouncing around a ton, not really loose off corner. We saw him get a little loose last time off of turn number 2, but like you said, he's just really calm, really smooth, as we got a good battle right behind him. That is Doug Poirier and Mark Hubbard going side by side. Sparks flying as he hits that bump on the inside of turn number 4. Poirier in that 57, that great looking Pontiac, one of the very few Pontiac street stocks I think you'll see in the country, as it is just a great looking machine.
Well, let's be fair, that might be one of the last Pontiacs left in the country at this point in time. It's not like it's a production model car anymore.
Yep.
Hubbard, we know, can rally that outside, but boy, Poirier really strong on the inside, moving his way up into 5th, and now setting sail for Watson, Watson feeling froggy. He might jump here on Grant. Got to look to the inside, going into 3, and has the spot.
Yep, great run there from Jeff Watson, able to carry that momentum off of turn number 2 and get to the inside of Grant. And Grant's going to be the big loser of that lap as he lost a spot to Poirier as well. And here comes Hubbard looking on the inside. I was just about to mention how great Jake Grant was doing, able to hang out inside the top 3 for a few more laps. And then, right as I say that, he gets freight trained by 3 of the more experienced street stock drivers right there, as Mike Marthal is going to suck out his back bumper as well in that 44. So a tough sequence laps there for the 19 of Jake Grant.
Man, our top 8 this year in the street stocks has been something else. As you feel like any of those drivers could win any given night, depending on what it is, and that kind of makes it even more impressive that Jensen has gone 2 for 2 so far. As we're going to look a little further back in the field, that's Fody in the 85, who's led laps this year, and working his outside, Sheridan Vincent in the 43, and Calvin Miller trying to get involved in the 49.
Yeah, and we've seen all these guys be upfront and competitive as well. So, that, I mean, really anywhere you look, all these drivers have battled inside the top 5 at one point or another. As we're going to flash back up to Poirier, who's starting to hunt down Watson for that 3rd spot on the podium. So Poirier in the 57, starting to put a little bit of pressure on the 51 machine, as we're about 10 laps into this run since we went back green flag racing halfway through the race, as we're going to come to 14 laps to go this time by. You have 3rd, 4th, and 5th place on your screen right now, as Jesse Jensen hasn't quite closed the gap completely. You saw them flash by the bottom of your screen there for a second on the race lead. This is the best battle on track right now. Poirier really putting some pressure on Watson now.
It feels like Poirier is really measuring him up, and Watson has got some holes in his defense. He's been leaving the bottom just open enough, like right here. Now, can Poirier get enough drive to beat him into the bottom of 1? And that's exactly what he tries to do. Watson through the middle of 2, low groove open. Here comes Poirier side by side down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it was really close. I don't think there was any contact. There might have been, but last time by through 1, just Poirier able to get to the inside of Watson and take over the 3rd spot. It looks like, yeah, like you mentioned, Watson's car maybe not wanting to hug the bottom. Maybe it's starting to tighten up as they've gone deeper into this run because he's really floating off of the bottom of the corner, like you mentioned, opening up that door, and that's how Poyer is able to get by. We'll see if Hubbard's able to do the same thing in the 41 machine as they go by the line this time. Still 11 laps to go. It is Steve Ptacek up front, followed by Jesse Jensen. Then we got Doug Poyer, who we just saw take over the third spot from Jeff Watson, and then Mark Hubbard sitting there in fifth.
Hubbard unable to do anything with Watson as of yet. You can see he's gone down to the low groove. Again, we've seen Hubbard pass a lot on the high side, not only this year, but last year in Home Track Heroes as well. He's comfortable up there, and there he goes. Going to slide her in just a half a groove above Watson. Diamonds the corner up, peaks down lows. We're going to get a look at your battle for the lead.
As we got a car going around right behind our race leaders and right in front of Doug Poyer, and he's able to avoid him. That was the lap car of Fajirli going around and almost collected Doug Poyer. That was about as close as you can get to being involved in an accident and not actually being involved in the accident. As that's going to stack the field up with 10 laps to go. As we'll take a look at a replay right here. Doug Poyer going through the corner and lap cars coming down right in front of him. Great job by everyone to avoid him.
So a 10 to go, a narrow miss, and from the in-car. This will be fun. That's a little narrow. Quick jerk of the steering wheel to the right, and good job by Poyer and the rest of the field by not adding to a bad situation. Let's go side by side here for a restart. This will be good.
Yeah, and that was Jeff Watson we rode on board with. And even when Jeff was avoiding a wreck, it looked like the car was just steering really easily. Like, it looked like, okay, let me just scoot over a little bit, and just keep on driving. He just looked really relaxed inside that car.
It may not pay dividends tonight. I mean, he still got a great run going outside row number 2. Fighting for the podium finish here tonight. But I'll tell you what, that amount of smoothness and calmness in the cockpit is going to pay dividends with the race win. It'll happen for him. If he can get a car around that much without having to wrestle it, he's in a pretty good place.
So restart here, still got, I think, every single car out there on the track right now. And a great jump from Jesse Jensen on the outside over Steve Ptacek. He's going to clear him going down into turn number 1. And a little bit of a bumper there from Ptacek and a huge bump from Poyer as they're going to go 3 wide down the back straightaway now. Big shot there from Poyer, really upset Ptacek and caused almost a chain reaction. And that's going to be Jeff Watson going on the inside. Oh, hang on to it, Jeff, hang on to it.
And he's slowing. Do we stay green? We have so far. And we got a new race leader. Did Poyer get him? No, didn't get him that time by, but he is side by side with Jensen. Now Jensen fighting back on the outside. And down to close the door. And a tap. And the door opens back up.
So Poyer really playing aggressive right here in the late stages of the Street Stock main event. 8 laps remaining. Gets to the inside of Jesse Jensen for the top spot. We'll see what he's able to do going down the back straightaway. Just not enough. Jesse's able to carry the momentum. But they're still side by side, door to door, and another shot there from Poyer.
Wow.
As this is some aggressive racing here in the Street Stock, still going side by side. How can you not love watching this?
Wow, they're leaning. One of them's leaning. Jensen goes a little bit wider through the corner. More contact made coming off of turn number 2. Physical and aggressive, and Poyer's going to nose ahead going into 3. Poyer looking for the race lead, drag race down the line, swapping paint, swapping graphics, and it's Poyer who's got the lead with 6 to go.
That was a lot of contact that time by off of turn number 4. That's allowed Steve Ptacek to get right back in this battle. 3 cars under a blanket for the race lead, coming to just 5 laps remaining for the Street Stocks. There goes Ptacek on the inside, and that's going to be Mike Marthaler going around. Austin Camp getting into the back of him, and they were battling, I think, for the 5th spot as you see lingering, getting hard on the brakes, sliding through. Everyone does a great job to avoid the sideways parked car of Mike Marthaler. Tough break there as he started a little bit farther back, and he was right around the 5th or 6th position when he was spun from contact from the 69 of Austin Camp. As we'll take a look at a replay, as that was some pretty exciting racing right before we went yellow there.
Wow, new parts for everybody tonight as it's been physical out there in the Street Stocks. Let's get a second look at it. You're right, he's following Miller, Hubbard, etc., and Camp might have just overshot a little bit going into the corner. Contact made, and you see what happens.
Yeah, I was surprised by Lindgren right there, how much he was able to get the car woed up in time. As we're going to ride on board right here with Sheridan Vincent going into the corner as he was right behind him. As you see Camp drift up just enough and then taking evasive action, avoiding all cars, and doing a great job with Sheridan Vincent. As we'll go on board once again with Jeff Watson. He's been a fun one to ride on board with tonight. Unfortunate for him getting shuffled back at the beginning of that last restart. Ted Lindgren, wow, great job there by the 88 not to run anyone over.
Well, you can see Poyer and Jensen. That's some, I don't know, gamesmanship. At most, I wonder if Jesse is a little irritated. It was physical.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was definitely a lot of hard racing, and I mean, normally when you get used up that much, you can't necessarily usually be happy. But we'll see what happens, as that's allowed Jake Grant now to get right up back into this battle. It was a 3-car battle. We're going to stack everyone back up with just 6 laps to go. Poyer's going to wash up on the start, and Jake Grant's going to go sideways. They're going to go 3 wide for a second. Someone got onto the wall back there as they stacked up. As we stay green for now, Poyer able to clear, as it's going to be Potasic and Jesse Jensen side by side for second.
All right, so Potasic to the inside, looking to pick up a spot. And talk about a bad few lap sequence for Jesse. The luck has been on the 3-car side this year. Right now, not breaking his way, leaning hard going into 1 on Potasic, but Potasic going to take the spot, and Potasic not done. Is he close enough to Poyer to make something happen?
Yeah, let's see the 57 machine out front for now. We'll see if Potasic is able to hunt him down now that he's cleared the 3 of Jensen. We saw the 57 get really loose that time off 4. We'll see if the 06 is able to get it pointed straight and start hunting down, as he only has 4 laps to try to make something happen.
Kenny and the 06 crew have been working hard on that car again to give Potasic a better ride week in and week out, and he is just close enough, although the back end really swung bad on him coming off of 4, and that might be enough gap for Poyer to hang on to this. Meanwhile, Jensen had another shot to the inside of Potasic, but couldn't get past him.
Yeah, he had a really good run off of 4 that time, but so did Mark Hubbard in the 41, so he's there. He's now cracked the top 4, and he's putting some pressure. He was trying to get to that final spot on the podium. 2 laps to go for Doug Poyer. Let's see if he's going to be able to hang on over Steve Potasic and Jesse Jensen. And Mark Hubbard, he's right there as well. And I think that was at the Calvin Miller machine that has worked his way into the top 5 as well. It is.
Sneaky good race for Calvin Miller, working his way up in the top 5, keeping his nose clean the whole time, too. As we're down to 1 to go, and it looks like Poyer might have the medicine to end the Jesse Jensen streak here in the early season.
Yeah, that time by from this shot, you could really see, as we got some cars going sideways, almost a wreck, and Hubbard, or yeah, Colin Hubbard going sideways with Mike Marthaler, so some action deep in the pack, but that's not going to affect your up front, as it is Doug Poyer getting the first win. That is not the 3-car Jesse Jensen. Steve Potasic coming home second, Jesse Jensen third, as that was an exciting finish. There's Colin Hubbard. He's able to limp his car back across the line there after that contact into turn number 1.
I wonder what they're going to have to say in victory lane. I wonder if any of them are fired up. Well, let's find out. Let's go down to the Angel of the Winds platform, and Derek Todoroff will have our street stock top 3 right now.
All right, Doug, life's a story of perspectives. What's your perspective? You heard what Jesse said.
Just hard racing. I wasn't trying to wreck anybody, just holding my spot, trying to race. I've seen other people race way worse, doing the same thing, so.
You ran a good race. You ran some good laps. Walk us through that move there, that second to last restart. You start in 3rd. You're behind Steve Potasic. How do you get to the front?
Well, Steve checked up, I checked up, I got hit from the back, hit him, got him sideways, didn't try to, but I'm not going to slow down, and I didn't hit him after that.
And do you have anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
J2 Racing and Ox Chassis.
You started on the pole, you ran a good race, you come in second. What's it like for you?
Well, being that the car was junk all day, we made a huge change for the heat. It was good in the heat. It was pretty good during the main until we had some melee, but that's what we're here for, so good times.
Got anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Just North Bend Chevrolet and Seattle Auto Works.
Now this 3-car has been on the podium 3 times. What's it like from your perspective?
The perspective of that race is a 57 used the whole racetrack to his benefit, but what goes around comes around. He's the biggest whiner in the group and says, don't scratch my car, all that stuff, and he'll get it. But it was fun, you know, it's racing hard, but there's a line. And when you just go in there blasting Steve and blasting me just to get to the front, that's not real racing.
So you brought it up, I brought it up. Is that what happened there on that cool-down lap?
Oh, the cool-down lap? I was on the inside of him trying to come around, and he just turned down on me.
All righty. Got anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Keep better track of his steering wheel.
Got anybody you'd like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, Dirk and Chris and Cruiswick, the owners of the car, just for giving me the opportunity to come out here and have fun. My family, just the whole crew, Rob, Jeff, everybody that helps out. It's a good time.
Well, it was a lively podium. That's for sure. It was a lively race, but that's what we've come to expect out of the Street Stock division when we have them here at Evergreen Speedway. What a great way to end Home Track Heroes for another great week of racing.
Exactly. Yeah, we mentioned the Street Stocks and the lively podium we just had. Well, guess what? They're in action again next week on Home Track Heroes, so be sure to tune in again as we might have a little bit of a rivalry between the 57 and 3 shaping up here.
You could definitely see that developing and hear it in the tone out of those interviews. So next week on Home Track Heroes, great show for you. Street Stocks are back in action. We'll have the Pro Late models on the card once again as their last opportunity to run got a little wet, but this time, fingers crossed, a little bit better weather we're hoping for.
Exactly, yeah. Pro 4 trucks are back out as well, as long as the Legends. So we got 4 classes on the 3/8 mile, and we got Super Stock figure 8s and Outlaw figure 8s on the docket as well. So it's definitely going to be a show you're going to want to tune into next Sunday. Next time out at the Speedway, though, that your opportunity to come and watch them in person, which we highly suggest you do. The sprint cars are back on the 3/8, the fastest cars you'll see hit the track in 2022.
The Granite Super Sprint Car Series is always a good time. There's nothing like the sound of the speed. It's the thunder and lightning of the sprint cars on the pavement, on the 3/8. A great time will be had by all, so make your way out because it's cool to watch it here on Home Track Heroes, but there's nothing like seeing racing live at Evergreen Speedway.
Exactly, yep. Come out, check it out, support your local track here next Saturday. The Granite Super Sprint Car Series, always so much fun. I mean, how do you not love watching cars go really, really fast?
That's right. Well, for Kyler Hope, I am Caleb Hart. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Home Track Heroes. We will see you next Sunday night for Pro Late Model, Street Stocks, and more here in the CW11.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on CW11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.